Ladies and gentlemen, you are here now. Let the world fall away. Let the echo of the day dissolve like mist in the rising sun of your awareness. The body sinks deeper. The breath slows. And everything you thought you needed to remember can be forgotten now. The world you came from is asleep. The people, the demands, the thoughts, the noise. It is all fading into nothing. And what remains is this chamber, this still sacred space that does not belong to time or effort or identity. You are not here to review your day. You are not here to solve a problem or chase an outcome. You are here to create. You are here to become. This is not sleep. This is not rest in the ordinary sense. This is creation. What you assume now in this silence will become form. What you feel now will be clothed in reality. What you dwell in, you will walk in. The veil is thin. The door is open. And you are being led not into unconsciousness, but into union. You are being drawn into the most fertile ground of your life. The moment before the mind surrenders and the subconscious takes the throne. Tonight, you do not go to sleep as the person who tried. You go to sleep as the one who has already received. Tonight you stop rehearsing the lack. You stop praying as a beggar. You stop waiting for the world to change. You step into the chamber as the one who has. So lay down your name, the one the world gave you. Lay down your story, the one built by fear and memory. Lay down your questions, the ones that kept you circling. And open your heart to the stillness that speaks not in words, but in being. The body may be still, but the soul is moving. The outer world may sleep, but the inner man is awakening. This is the chamber of the wish fulfilled. And to enter it, you must leave the old name behind. The name of the one who hoped, the one who waited, the one who feared. Let it die now. Let the breath carry it away. With every exhale, release the persona. With every inhale, draw in the fragrance of the new self. Do not try to figure it out. Do not reach for words. Let the silence clothe you. Let the darkness become your sanctuary. You are not here to remember who you were. You are here to become who you truly are. And that becoming begins now in this sacred threshold between thought and sleep, between doing and being, between the seen and the unseen. Welcome to the chamber. The world you desire is already here, and tonight you will enter it. Not by effort, but by assumption, not by striving, but by surrender. Let go. Close your eyes to the outer man and open them inward. Where I am waits to reveal its glory. Now that the outer world has faded, now that your breath has softened into rhythm, you begin to feel yourself descending into the inner sanctuary. Not a place, but a presence. Not a chamber made of stone or structure, but a living temple of stillness built of vibration, breath, and the unshakable awareness of I am. Here within this holy sanctuary, nothing external may follow you. You do not carry your fears into this space. You do not bring your responsibilities, your roles, your relationships. All that is not eternal must fall away now. The opinions of others, the noise of your past, the structure of your logic, all of it disrose at the threshold of this sacred place. You have entered the realm of causation. You have entered the womb of creation. Feel the breath dropping deeper into the belly. Feel the body melting into the bed beneath you, as if it were no longer matter, but cloud, light, essence. With each inhale, you are not simply breathing air. You are drawing awareness into yourself, returning to the eternal center from which all things are born. And with each exhale, You are releasing every residue of tension, every trace of identity that no longer belongs to the new you. There is no need to control anything here. No need to visualize perfectly or perform mentally. You are not here to do. You are here to allow. Let your awareness sink into your hands, into your feet, into your heart. Let it gather behind your eyes and settle like warm oil in the middle of your chest. Let it rest there, silent, luminous, sacred. For you are stepping into the Holy of Holies, the innermost chamber where only your true self may enter. The world may sleep, but the I Am does not. It waits here not as something to be found, but as the truth that was never lost, only drowned out by the noise of striving. And now as the noise grows quiet, and the striving dissolves, the I Am begins to rise. This is your inner sanctuary. This is where your word becomes flesh. This is where imagination is not a tool but a temple. Here the law is not taught. It is lived. Here you do not chase your desire, you become it. For in this space, time does not move forward. There is no distance between seed and harvest. There is only assumption and the stillness that seals it. So allow yourself to withdraw deeper. With every breath, retreat from the outer shell of thought. With every breath, descend into presence. Let your senses dim. Let your mind quiet. You are stepping not away from the world, but into the very source that creates it. And in this still sanctuary, in this secret place, the sacred work of transformation begins. You are ready now. You are still. You are aware. You are I Am. Now that you are within the sanctuary. Now that breath moves like sacred incense, rising and falling within the still temple of your being. It is time. Time to release what has clung to you for too long. The identity you have carried. The self you have defended. The name you've been repeating in your mind. It cannot cross the threshold of fulfillment. The one who lacked. The one who doubted. The one who feared, who hoped and never fully believed. That self has no place in the land of the wish fulfilled. That self must be laid to rest. Not in anger, not in violence, but in reverence, in surrender, in love. You were never wrong to become that self. You wore it because it was all you knew. You survived in it. You learned through it. You stumbled, yes, but even the stumbling was sacred. But now you are being called higher. And higher does not mean effort. It means return. A return to the origin, to the truth before the masks were layered. Before the stories hardened into identity. And so now in this sacred sleep, in this holy pause between waking and dreaming, I invite you with grace, with gentleness, to put off the old man. Let the garment fall. Let the name dissolve. Let the memories that once defined you grow quiet. You are not the one who was rejected. You are not the one who failed. You are not the one who waits for life to choose you. That was the echo of a false image. And it is time to shed it. Like dead skin, like cracked armor, like fog lifting from the morning sea. You are not your patterns. You are not your delays. You are not your disappointments. You are what remains when they are gone. Feel now the sacred emptiness beneath the personality, the stillness underneath the striving. You are not disappearing. You are being revealed. As the outer shell dissolves, the inner light grows brighter. Not a light that comes from outside you, but one that has waited behind hell of your effort, behind the curtain of your persona. It is not arriving. It has always been here. Let the death come. Let the old self fall into the ground like a seed. Because what comes next is not an improvement. It is a resurrection. And resurrection always begins with a burial. Say goodbye to the one who tried. Say goodbye to the one who doubted. Say goodbye to the one who prayed with crossed fingers. That self was sacred, but it is no longer needed. Let it be buried in the silence. Let it be returned to the dust. And in its place something will rise, not from thought, but from truth, not from striving, but from stillness, not from becoming, but from being. Now in the stillness, where the old self has been laid to rest, in the sacred soil of silence where doubt no longer speaks and the past no longer echoes, a new name begins to rise. Not in volume, not in demand, but in vibration. A name not given by the world, but breathed from within. A name not earned through action, but revealed through surrender. It is not the name you use in the marketplace, nor the one they wrote on your certificates. This name is not spoken to others. It is spoken to creation. It is spoken to the mirror that is the universe. It is spoken inwardly as a decree that reverberates through unseen corridors and alters the pattern of everything that follows. And that name is I Am. You do not whisper this name to become something. You whisper it because you already are. You speak it not with striving, but with sovereign stillness. I am. And then you finish the sentence not with hope, not with reaching, not with delay, but with truth. I am love. I am abundance. I am chosen. I am healed. I am whole. I am complete. You do not ask for these things to be added unto you. You call them forth as your reflection. You name yourself as the source. And the world being nothing, but echo must repeat what you declare. Feel the words rise from the belly, not the brain. Let them ripple through your breath, not as a chant, but as a certainty. You are not planting a wish. You are planting identity. An identity once assumed must take root. It must bloom. It must bloom. Even if the outer world still appears unchanged, do not be deceived. The seed has been planted in the womb of silence. And the womb does not show its fruit immediately. It waits. It guards. It conceives. See yourself now not who longs but as the one who has. Feel into the resurrection. See the grave empty. See the old garments folded and left behind. You have risen. You have ascended not away from your body, but away from the former idea of yourself. This is not imagination in the shallow sense. This is not fantasy. This is the Word made flesh. This is assumption clothed in being. You are not imagining something outside yourself. You are remembering who you've always been beneath the veils of time and conditioning. Speak the name again. I am. And let it be followed by what you were once too afraid to claim. Let it be followed by the thing you secretly knew you were, but could not yet admit. Speak it in the silence. Speak it without needing a sign. Speak it because it is true. And feel the resonance settle into your nervous system, into your breath, into the very space between your thoughts. This is how a new self is born. Not through willpower, through naming, through knowing, through allowing. And tonight, you do not go to sleep trying to become. You go to sleep having become. The seed is planted. The soil is rich. The name has been spoken. The I am has been claimed. Now rest, not in hope, in being. Now that the new name has been planted. Now that the old identity has been folded away, like a garment never to be worn again, you enter into the most sacred chamber of all. The chamber of absorption. This is where you no longer reach for the wish fulfilled. You no longer recite it like a spell. You no longer wait for it as something outside. You become it in silence. You wear it within. You breathe as though it is already here. And the breath becomes the bridge between imagination and incarnation. You do not sleep as a person holding a desire. You sleep as the one who already has. This is the gate, the final act of creation, not a loud explosion of faith, but the quiet certainty of being. Neville said, "You must go to sleep as though the wish were fulfilled. Not thinking about it, not imagining it as a maybe, not hoping it will arrive, but as though it is already done. As though this moment right now is the conclusion of the prayer, the final punctuation on the inner decree. The mind may try to pull you back to analyze, to wonder, is it working? But you gently guide it away, back into the body, back into the breath, back into the womb of assumption. And here you remain, not repeating, not resisting, not asking, simply absorbing, allowing the feeling of the wish fulfilled to permeate you like heat from a sacred fire. Breathe into it, not to calm the nerves, but to expand the truth. Inhale as the one who already has. Exhale as the one who no longer waits. Let every breath draw you deeper into the center of the desire. Not its form, but its essence. You are not visualizing it like a picture on a screen. You are remembering it as a feeling that already belongs to you. You are not watching the scene like a stranger. You are dwelling in it like your home. The room you enter in sleep is the temple that will echo into your waking life. And if you enter that room with assumption, the outer world must arrange itself to reflect the interior order. This is not effort. This is absorption. It is a melting, a merging, a resting in the already. And in that rest, the subconscious, that great mirror, that silent servant receives its instruction, not through language, but through vibration, through feeling, through inner stillness that speaks louder than words ever could. And once received, it does not need to be reminded. It does not require your help. It goes to work while you sleep. It reorganizes the world to match the self you have dared to become. So go deeper now. Let the wish fulfilled no longer be a scene. Let it be your state. Let it no longer be something you observe. Let it be the skin you wear. Let it no longer be a goal. Let it be the ground you walk upon in this temple of rest. You do not need to see more clearly. You only need to feel more completely. You are not planting again. You are watering the seed with silence. You are warming it with surrender. You are sealing it with sleep. Tonight you do not try to manifest. You embody. You do not wish. You become. You do not wait. You absorb. And the universe, the law, the I am must respond. Because it is not separate from you. It is you and you have assumed. Now that the breath has deepened and the wish fulfilled, has begun to saturate the inner sanctuary. Now that the old man has dissolved into stillness, and the I am has quietly taken its throne, it is time to crystallize the inner world with an imaginal scene. Not a movie projected onto the screen of the mind, but a memory borrowed from the future. Vivid not because of its clarity, but because of its emotional reality. This scene is not constructed. It is received, not invented, but felt. It must be simple, and it must be alive. It must not exist in time but in tone. You are not the audience here. You are the inhabitant. You are not watching something happen. You are remembering that it already has. Let it arise now, like a soft fragrance blooming through silence. A moment, a gesture, a phrase, a smile, one scene, no more, no less. Let it be brief, but complete like a single breath that contains all the love in the world. Maybe it is the moment someone looks into your eyes and says, "You did it." Maybe it is the feeling of your hands touching the steering wheel of the new car, or the first morning in your new home. Sunlight pouring in like a blessing already fulfilled. Maybe it is the embrace of the lover who once seemed so far away. But it is not the detail that makes it real. It is the feeling. Do not force the image. Let it come as naturally as a memory. You are not building a fantasy. You are inhabiting a fact. And that fact must be felt in the body, not just seen in the mind. Feel your breath slow as you dwell in the moment. Feel your heart swell as you anchor into the emotional truth. This already happened. You are not trying to convince yourself. You are remembering what is already yours. And now let the scene repeat. Not with tension. Not like a loop desperately clinging to belief, but like a lullaby. Like a sacred mantra softly circling the subconscious deeper and deeper with each rotation. The repetition is not to make it true. It is to let the body memorize the state. You are teaching your inner world what it means to feel at home in this vibration. And once the body believes, once the subconscious accepts it as reality, the outer world must echo that decision. Let the scene settle now. Let it wrap around you like a warm blanket. Let the edges blur. Let the form dissolve into pure sensation. And when the image fades, do not chase it. Do not try to grasp it again. Let the scene go, but let the feeling remain. Let the tone of completion continue to hum beneath the breath, because it is not the image that creates. It is the feeling. It is always the feeling. Now say it within. This is where I live now. Not the old house of longing. Not the tent of hope. Not the echo of waiting. This is the new address of your being. The frequency of fulfillment. You dwell in it. You sleep in it. You rise in it. You are no longer trying to reach the future. You are remembering the past of something that has not yet appeared, but already is. This scene is not a suggestion. It is a seed, and it has been planted. Now that the scene has settled, and the wish fulfilled has taken root in your inner world. Now that the emotional tone has been sealed within you like a sacred perfume pressed into the folds of consciousness. It is time to speak. Not as the one who hopes, not as the one who asks, not as the one who affirms, but as the one who remembers. Because when you speak from the end, you are no longer trying to summon. You are no longer trying to impress the subconscious or bend reality to your will. You are simply articulating what already is. Your inner speech is no longer a petition. It is a reflection. It is the quiet voice of God, the I am within you, whispering its certainty into the soil of silence. Let your speech be gentle now. Let it rise not from effort but from knowing. The voice you use within is not a command shouted into the void. It is a conversation with completion. Say now inwardly with full feeling. Wasn't it wonderful? Let the tone be soft. Like someone recalling a precious moment from long ago. You are not performing. You are inhabiting. Let your words come from the memory of the fulfillment, not the desire for it. Speak as the one who has already crossed the threshold, who has already tasted the fruit, who has already walked through the open door. Let your inner voice say, "Of course it worked." Not because you forced it, not because you labored over it, but because it could not have unfolded any other way. You are not imagining a possibility. You are speaking from inevitability. And the more you do, the more the subconscious accepts it as fact. The more your speech reflects fulfillment, the more the outer world must fall in line. Because your inner word is the command. Your inner word is the blueprint. Your inner word is law. This is the holy reversal. You no longer speak about what you want. You speak as if you already have it. You no longer say, will it happen? You say it already has. You no longer say, I hope. You say, I remember. And this remembrance is not delusion. It is the highest form of creation. Because the law responds not to what you want, but to what you embody. And nothing embodies more than inner speech. So speak now inwardly, repeatedly, lovingly. Say, I'm so grateful it happened. Say, it was always meant for me. Say, this is who I am now. Let these words melt into the fabric of your identity. Let them become the lullaby that carries you into sleep. You do not need to say them loudly. You do not need to convince yourself. You only need to feel their truth. And if your body begins to believe, if your inner world begins to echo those phrases as natural and obvious, then you will know the law has received its instruction. There is nothing left to ask for. You have spoken, not from lack, but from fulfillment. Not from hope, but from embodiment. And your inner word spoken from the end now goes forth, clothed in silence, carrying within it the power to reshape everything that follows. It is done. It is spoken. It is law. Now, as the inner word has been spoken from the place of fulfillment, as your imagination and your breath have become one, as your body rests in the gentle rhythm of certainty, something begins to happen, not loud, not visible, but profound. There is a union taking place, a joining of forces, a mystical consummation that cannot be observed with the eyes, but only felt in the holy hush of being. The ancients knew it. The prophets dreamed it. And Neville called it by its true name, the marriage of the inner masculine and the inner feminine, the sacred union from which creation flows. This is not metaphor. This is law. The masculine within you is the spark, the desire, the projection, the clear intention. It says, let there. It is the conscious assertion, the decision to assume. The feminine is the stillness, the subconscious field, the womb that receives without question. It does not analyze. It does not argue. It simply opens and becomes. When these two meet, when your conscious assumption is planted within the receptive stillness of your subconscious, the result is inevitable. Creation, manifestation, birth, form. What was once imagined must be born because it has been conceived. You are not praying to a God outside of you. You are performing the divine act within you. The union is not symbolic. It is energetic. The moment you assume the state, the masculine was activated. And now in this stillness, in this relaxed surrender, the feminine opens to receive it. This is the sacred marriage. This is the mystery of Christ and church, of bridegroom and bride, of heaven and earth joining in a whisper. It is not drama. It is not sensation. It is certainty cloaked in silence. Desire enters. Assumption holds, and the child, the manifestation, is formed. So rest now in this union. Do not interrupt it with questions. Do not touch it with effort. Let the moment be what it is, holy. You are not hoping anymore. You are not striving. You are not creating rituals or layering techniques. You are simply letting it happen. You are lying still at the souse what the Spirit has spoken. This is prayer not as petition, but as possession. You are no longer asking. You are knowing. And in that knowing, the inner man and the inner woman, the doing and the being merge. There is nothing left to do but dwell. Dwell in the feeling of conception. Dwell in the atmosphere of certainty. Dwell in the truth that creation has already occurred, and the outer world is already adjusting to reflect it. The child is forming in the dark. The bridge is rising unseen. The blessing is unfolding in the silence, not because you forced it, but because you allowed the sacred marriage to occur. The law is fulfilled in union. The promise is fulfilled in stillness. And you are the temple in which both become one. Now that the sacred marriage has taken place, now that assumption has entered stillness and conception has quietly occurred in the depths of your being. The time has come not for more doing, not for more asking, not for more imagining, but for sealing, for closing the door of consciousness behind the act, and entering the holy silence that protects, preserves, and multiplies. For what has been felt must now be kept, and what has been conceived must now be allowed to gestate in the darkness, unbothered by doubt, untouched by logic, untouched by time. The work is complete, and now the sealing begins. Let your attention withdraw completely from the outer world. Let your eyes grow heavier, and your thoughts grow slower, as if every breath is tucking you deeper into the inner chamber. You are no longer turning outward for proof. You are no longer reaching for signs or signals. You are descending into the still water of your own knowing. And in that descent, the feeling of the wish fulfilled is being wrapped like a seed in fertile soil, undisturbed, untouched. This feeling is no longer a visitor. It is your home. It is no longer something you visit to feel better. It is where you live. Breathe into that knowing. Let every inhale deepen the reality of it. Let every exhale release any trace of effort. This is not repetition. This is reverence. The imaginal act is done. The words have been spoken. The feeling has been claimed. And now you must seal it. Like a letter being sent to the subconscious. Signed not with ink, but with vibration. The envelope must be closed. The seal must be pressed. The message must be delivered into the unseen, where the real work begins. Metaphorically. Imagine now that the entire imaginal act, the scene, the speech, the identity, the inner union is being wrapped in golden silk and lowered into the depths of your being. No one may touch it now, not even you. The moment you try to check on it, to test it, to ask if it's working, you unseal the chamber. You expose the seed to the elements. But you will not do that because you trust, because you know, and that knowing is enough. Repeat silently now, not with desperation, but with quiet command. This must be born because it has been assumed. Say it again. It must be so, for I have already become it. This is the echo you carry with you as you move towards sleep. Not questions, not requests, just certainty. Just containment. Just the fullness of a thing already done. Let the feeling anchor into the body. Let it settle into your breath. Let it hum beneath the skin like a silent song only the soul can hear. You do not need to feel more. You only need to protect what you have already felt. This is the spiritual art of containment. This is the mystical discipline that keeps the gates closed to doubt and open to fulfillment. The seed is planted. The womb is quiet. The feeling is sealed. It is done. Not with the feeling is sealed, not with grasping hands, but with the quiet reverence of one who knows. Not with outward performance, but with inward rest. You are ready for what most cannot yet bear, the season of unseen movements, the space between the inner decree and the outer echo, the invisible path, the rearrangement behind the veil. For what you have planted tonight in the sacred chamber of imagination, is already in motion. But the movement will not announce itself. It will not flash in the sky or scream through circumstance. It will tiptoe through time, like a quiet current beneath still water. And to receive its fullness, you must let go of needing to see it. You must release every demand for evidence and learn to walk by the only vision that matters, inner sight. Neville said, "You do not know how it will come, only that it must." And herein lies the power of those who master the law. They no longer wait for confirmation from the world, for their word has already become flesh within. They do not pace the edges of manifestation, anxiously watching for the bridge to appear. They rest, they walk. They move through the day with the sacred poise of one who knows that everything necessary has already been summoned. Everything is now obeying the assumption, whether seen or not, whether loud or hidden, whether direct or disguised, it is happening. It must happen because the inner state always births the outer form. So let go now of all your timelines. Let go of how you thought it should unfold. Let go of the people you once believed had to participate. The steps you thought had to occur. That map was drawn by the old self. That logic was forged in the fire of separation. But tonight you have crossed the threshold. You have spoken the word from the end. You have planted the seed in divine soil. And now the bridge is being built not by you but for you. The path is being cleared not in front of your eyes, but beneath your feet. Trust the unseen. Trust the delays. Trust the detours. Trust even the moments that look like reversals. For they too are part of the choreography. The law is perfect, and it cannot fail. But it will not report to the senses. It will not explain itself. It moves in silence. It delivers without applause. And your only role now is to maintain the state, to walk in the world as the one who has, even when the world still looks like it hasn't caught up, because it is catching up. Every conversation, every shift, every whisper behind the scenes, all of it is moving, aligning, drawing your assumption into form. Say to yourself now, not as a mantra, but as a decree, I do not need to know how. I only know it must. Say it again. It must because I have already assumed it. Let that knowing become your posture. Let it become your vibration. Let it become your atmosphere. You are no longer waiting for the miracle. You are the miracle. And the world, though it may take a moment to respond, must bow to what you have become. So sleep now, not in hope, in trust. Walk now, not in need, in knowing. The bridge is being built beneath your stillness. And now, as the breath has softened into silence, and the seed of assumption has been sealed in the womb of your being, you are invited to drift, not into unconsciousness, but into identity, not into darkness, but into light wrapped in rest. The body may be sinking into sleep, but the soul is rising into remembrance. This is no ordinary drifting. This is the dissolving of the former self into the form of I am. A sacred melting where all former names are left behind and all striving ceases. You are not drifting into oblivion. You are drifting into the only truth that ever was. I am the one who has. Let the repetition begin now. Slow and low, like the gentle tide brushing the edge of your subconscious shore. I am the one who has. Whisper it. Breathe it. Let it echo in the chambers of your inner being. You are not imagining now. You are not constructing a fantasy. You are declaring your spiritual inheritance. You are relaxing into the truest vibration of your soul. Feel what it means to say it without needing to be convinced. I am the one who has fill in the silence with the identity that has been forming in your stillness. I am the one who has the love. I am the one who has the wealth. I am the one who has the peace. Whatever you declare, feel it as already seated within you, not arriving from the world but emanating from your center. Let the outer self disappear completely now. There is no mirror here. There is no reflection. There is only being. There is only the calm river of thee already. You are not moving toward anything. You are floating in it. You are not trying to remember your affirmations. You are becoming the vibration itself. There is no need to explain. There is no need to narrate. There is no need to reach. Every grasping thought now melts. Every anxious impulse now quiets. The only movement is inward, deeper, deeper. Deeper into the identity of a fulfilled one. And with each breath, that identity becomes more real than anything you have ever seen with your eyes. It becomes your world. The body rests, the senses fade, and all that remains is the I am resting in its throne of silence. You are not falling asleep as the one who tried. You are falling asleep as the one who is. And this sleep is not a break from creation. It is the final seal, the last kiss of assumption, before the subconscious goes to work building, shifting, rearranging the outer world to reflect the new ruler within. So drift, float, dissolve. Let the edges of form blur into light. Let the mind grow quiet in reverence. Let the breath carry your new name like a prayer woven into every inhale and exhale. I am the one who has. You do not need to make it happen. You only need to sleep in it. And the law, perfect, impartial, and exact, will bring it forth. This is divine identity. This is spiritual royalty. And you have remembered it. Now, in this holy drift, where the breath has grown shallow, and the thoughts no longer form full sentences, but echo like distant chimes in the mist, you are being invited into a dream. Not a dream of fantasy, but a dream of creation. Not the passive visions of a mind floating in sleep, but the divine dreams of a God remembering its power. Because you are not simply falling asleep. You are entering the sacred temple where God dreams reality into form. And that God is not above you, beyond you, or outside of you. That God is the I am within you. And when you dream from assumption, you are dreaming as God. This is what Neville meant when he said, "Your dreams are your prophecies." He was not speaking of the strange symbols that dance through your unconscious mind. He was speaking of the state you carry into sleep, the emotional conviction that wraps your soul as you release the day. That state becomes the seed. That assumption becomes the blueprint. And your dreams, whether remembered or not, are the subconscious weaving of that inner identity into the outer world. So tonight, you do not fall asleep with worry in your chest. You do not drift with a question on your tongue. You descend into sleep as the one who has. You carry no lack with you, no delay, no hoping. You carry the frequency of the fulfilled one. And that frequency will sculpt the dream. That vibration will saturate the subconscious, becoming the very clay with which tomorrow is formed. Because dreaming is not escape. It is transmission. And the dream is not passive. It is architectural. You do not need to control the dream. You do not need to force a vision. The act has already been performed. The assumption has already been planted. Now the dream will take its shape from the tone you have entered. You do not have to see that entire scene. You only have to feel the end. You only have to sleep in the identity. The dream will conform. The world will follow. And as you sleep, your subconscious, that great builder of bridges, will go to work laying the invisible pathway between your assumption and its reflection. Tonight, let yourself be carried by the truth. Enter dream is not entertainment. And it is not random. It is sacred instruction. It is spiritual programming. As you sleep in the fulfilled state, the world around you is being rearranged to accommodate what you have become. Feel the comfort of that truth as your breath slows. Feel the gravity of that, knowing as the mind unhooks from form. Say within, my dream tonight is creation itself. Let that be the final phrase before the veil thickens. Let it echo into the subconscious like a command written in light. You are not just sleeping. You are dreaming as God. And because of that, the wish must fulfill. The seed must break the soil. The outer must bend to the inner. For the one who dreams as God is not hoping to awaken blessed. They awaken into the very world they have just conceived in silence. Now that you drift in the vibration of divine dreaming, now that the wish has become your atmosphere, and the breath of the fulfilled one moves quietly through your being, you begin to feel something deeper. Not just a manifestation taking form, not just an outer echo being prepared, but a promise being fulfilled. Not a promise spoken by another. Not a promise scribbled in holy books by hands long gone, but the promise written in your own soul, that when you return to I am, when you assume the identity of the fulfilled, when you lay down the garments of lack and walk naked in the presence of your own divine authority, you shall know yourself as God. This is the true fulfillment. The law brings the fruit, but the promise awakens the tree. The law lets you assume and receive, but the promise reveals that the one who assumes was never a fragment of man, but the eternal self, the Christ within. This is not theology. This is not dogma. This is the direct experience of the Word becoming flesh. The inner man, once sleeping in forgetfulness, now stirs with light. You are not just creating tonight. You are being reborn. And in that rebirth, something ancient stirs. Something eternal begins to shine through the stillness. Let this knowing rise from within, not as a thought, but as a presence. Let it bathe the imaginal act in radiance. You have done more than claim your desire. You have remembered your origin. You have not just assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You have become the one who speaks things into being. And that realization, not the house, not the lover, not the money, not the health, that realization is the true reward. The law serves you, but the promise is you. The two are one. The assumption and the awakening, the manifestation and the revelation. And so now speak not to the universe, but from it. Speak not to your desire, but as the one who no longer desires. Say quietly within yourself, it is finished. Not because there is nothing left to experience, but because there is nothing left to prove, nothing left to reach for. You have crossed from believing to knowing, from separation to union, from man to God consciousness. This is the resurrection Neville spoke of. Not after death, but in this life, in this breath, in this sleep, you have put off the old man. You have planted the new name. And now you sleep not as the one who wishes, but as the one who is. Feel now the chamber of your being filling with golden light. Not around you but from you, the center glows, the seed glows, the fulfilled feeling glows, and that glow is not emotion. It is not thought. It is awareness. The light of your own divine inheritance, finally unburied by assumption. Finally unlocked by identity. You are not imagining the light. You are the light. And the dream you enter now is not fiction. It is prophecy. This is the promise fulfilled now. That the promise has revealed itself. Not as something distant, but as something already fulfilled within you. Now that the golden light of divine identity glows softly behind your ribs and hums quietly through your bones. All striving, all seeking, all needing can finally come to an end. There is nothing more to say, nothing more to do, nothing more to fix. The door has been closed to the old world, and you lie now in the center of completion. Not chasing the result, not negotiating with life, not adjusting yourself to please reality, but resting in what already is. This is the deepest surrender of all. Not the surrender of the desperate, but the surrender of the divine. The surrender of the one who knows that nothing must be earned when you already are. Let your breath be the final offering. Let each inhale confirm the truth. Let each exhale release anything that would interrupt it. You are no longer trying to sustain the state. You are the state. You are not trying to hold the feeling. The feeling holds you. You are not trying to stay in alignment. There is nothing to align with. You have become the axis around which all things revolve. And from this center, from this stillness, you do not speak to the universe as a child knocking on the door. You recline in the mansion already built. And the world adjusts to match the tone you now carry like a fragrance from heaven. All desire now rests, not because it was suppressed, not because it was released, but because it has been met. It has found its mirror in you, and the moment that occurred, the current of wanting disappeared. There is no lack in this breath. There is no waiting in this room. You lie in the vibration of fullness, not as a practice, but as a posture. This is what it means to rest in the Sabbath of creation. To step back, not because the work is unfinished, but because it is done. To breathe in silence, not because you are uncertain, but because certainty has filled every crevice of your being. The outer world may still appear unchanged. That is not your concern. You have withdrawn your power from appearance and returned it to being. And that return, that quiet reclamation is what bends the laws of space and time. The stillness you now feel is not absence. It is the presence of power resting in itself. It is the infinite curled into a single breath. It is I am wrapped in silence, dreaming the next unfolding into form. You are now resting in what already is. And that rest is not stillness alone. It is creation at its most refined. The outer man sleeps. The inner man reigns. You are no longer held by the story. You are no longer caught in the question. You are the answer clothed in silence. The desire clothed in breath. The prayer clothed in flesh. Stay here. Rest here. Let the body go limp. Let the voice go quiet. Let the mind drift not in confusion but in sacred saturation. You are not the same as you were. You are not where you began. You are not trying to believe anymore. You are resting because belief has already become being. The completion is not coming. It is you. Now that you are resting in completion, not pretending, not hoping, but resting, you are ready to cross the final threshold, the most sacred chamber of all, the great silence. This silence is not the absence of sound. It is not the stillness of sleep. It is the eternal hush of knowing, the void that is not empty but full. The space between thoughts where all things are born. This is the place the prophets entered when they said, "Be still and know that I am." This is where words dissolve and the word remains. This is not silence as the world understands it. This is the voice of God with no voice at all. The eternal presence of I am, with no need for echo. You are no longer trying to hold a scene, no longer reciting a mantra, no longer feeding a feeling, because the vibration of fulfillment has become your default state. The dream is set. The prayer is finished. The assumption is complete. And now you let all of it fall away. Not because it is lost, but because it is sealed. You do not need to keep repeating what has already been impressed upon the depths of your being. You do not need to stir what is already alive. The moment you enter this silence, you are confirming the highest truth of the law. That creation is complete the instant it is assumed, and all that follows is rearrangement. Feel it now. The weightless drift into the nameless. You are not your identity. You are not your desire. You are not even the fulfillment. You are the source of all three. The I am that existed before the world, before time, before form. Let go of every image. Let go of every phrase. Let the breath become faint. The limbs dissolve. The mind fall like a petal into the ocean of being. You do not need to maintain anything. You are already in this state. And in this state, you do not create. You are creation, Neville said. Sleep in the assumption, and you will awaken in its manifestation. Let those words be the final door you walk through. Let them echo through your spirit, even as the mind drifts into rest. This is not ordinary sleep. This is holy sleep. The sleep of the fulfilled one. The sleep of the God remembering self. And in this sleep all things are made new. There is no past here. No future here. Only the now. Only the pulse of being. Only the hum of divinity resting in itself. You are not alone. You are not separate. You are not a fragment. You are the whole temporarily clothed in breath. Returning now to your original state. This silence is not empty. It is pregnant. And what it carries has already been conceived. You do not need to be aware now. You only need to be present. You do not need to think now. You only need to feel. And even that feeling will soften into stillness until all that remains is I am. I am. I am. No striving, no movement. Just the endless truth echoing through eternity. You are not the one seeking. You are the one being. You have entered the great silence. And the great silence has answered. And now you have arrived at the final descent, not into unconsciousness, but into the sacred unknown, where the subconscious takes its throne and the God within begins to sculpt tomorrow from the clay of tonight. This is the moment where the veil thickens and the bridge becomes invisible. The senses fall away. The names dissolve. The breath grows so soft it cannot be heard. And yet it moves, with the quiet force of a divine current, carrying you into the deeper chambers of being. You are no longer preparing to sleep. You are departing not from yourself, but from the illusions that once clouded you. You are slipping beneath the waters of form, not to drown, but to create. Not to vanish, but to rise again clothed in the echo of what you have assumed. You are safe now. Not because the outer world has changed, but because you have changed. You are no longer in the hands of circumstance. You are held by your own I am. The only true safety there has ever been. And so your limbs grow heavy, not with exhaustion, but with surrender. Your mind loosens its grip, not in fear but in faith. Your body lies still because your spirit is at peace. This is sacred sleep. This is holy rest. This is the final step of creation. Not action, but allowing. Let every breath now affirm what words no longer need to say. It is done. Not as hope, not as desire, but as knowing. The scene has been planted. The scene has been lived. The assumption has been absorbed. And now the gate closes gently behind you. Not in isolation, but in protection. The chamber of the subconscious is sealed. The gardener has finished sowing. The soil does its work in silence. There is no more asking, no more watching, no more wondering. There is only trust. There is only stillness. There is only the slow and sacred fall into the arms of the God within. Let your final thought, if thought still moves, be this: I am fulfilled. I am safe. I am resting in what already is. Let it echo not through the mind, but through the breath, through the heartbeat, through the still sanctuary of your innermost being. The world may appear the same tomorrow. Let it, for it has already changed beneath the surface. The dream is in motion. The bridge is rising. The form is following the feeling. You do not need to wake up and try. You need only to continue in the identity you now sleep in, because the world cannot deny a self that no longer seeks permission to be. You are drifting now not away from power, but deeper into it. Not away from control, but into command. Not into chaos, but into clarity. This is not sleep as escape. This is sleep as return. And you return now not to the old world, but to the true self. The one who never lacked, never begged, never doubted. The one who speaks and it is done. You are safe. You are complete. You are already what you once sought to become. And now let there be silence. You are not falling asleep. You are crossing into the inner temple. You have entered this sacred chamber. After night, without realizing where you were, without understanding what this moment truly is. But tonight, you are not just closing your eyes. You are returning to the sanctuary of the Most High. This is not rest for the body alone. This is the stillness that births worlds. The silence into which you are about to descend is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the very womb of creation. And I tell you now with the same authority that awakened Lazarus and calmed the storm. Within this silence, all things are made. The world you walk through each day is born in this holy stillness. And yet you treat it as if it were nothing. You call it sleep as though it were unconscious. But I call it return. Return to the origin. Return to the I am that speaks worlds into form without effort, without striving, without voice. You are not drifting off. You are being lowered slowly and gently beyond the senses, past the flickering thoughts into the hidden place, where all true things are spoken. The veil of sleep is not darkness. It is the curtain of the Holy of Holies. It is the sacred partition that conceals the throne room of your inner being. The place where your word becomes flesh. As the outer world grows dim, the inner world glows brighter. This is the divine reversal. While the body weakens, the spirit strengthens. While the eyelids fall, the inner eye opens. While you are thought to be unconscious, you are becoming most conscious. For now there is no interference. Now there is no argument from the senses, no chatter of logic. Now only one voice speaks, and it is the voice of I am. Tonight I lead you across that threshold consciously. You will not slip into unconscious sleep as one who is unaware. You will glide into stillness as one who knows. This moment is sacred. You are standing at the inner altar. You are holding in your awareness the seed of the life you desire. And in the temple of sleep, that seed is planted, not by your effort, but by your being. This stillness is not absence. It is potency. The world believes silence is nothing. But I tell you, silence is God, and God is always creating. Let every thought fade now. Let every muscle rest. Let the body lie gently as if it were already fulfilled, because it is. Because you are. And now the temple door swings open. What you feel in the final moment becomes flesh. Hear me now, not with your outer ears, but with the ear behind the ear, the one that listens in silence, the one that hears the word when no sound is spoken. For I tell you a mystery, one hidden in plain sight, one veiled only by your disbelief. Your last conscious impression before sleep is the seed of tomorrow. It is not a stray idea, nor an idle dream. It is the decree of the Lord issued from the throne of I am received by the infinite subconscious and made visible in the world of men. The moment before sleep is the moment of transfer, when the limited conscious self hands the scroll to the limitless creative power within. And what is written on that scroll? What you truly believe, what you truly feel, what you accept as real in that holy instant will not return void. It will accomplish that which you please, not because you strive for it, not because you wish for it, but because you believed in its being. You may have spoken prayers aloud. You may have repeated affirmations 1,000 times. But if in that final exhale, before the descent into sleep, you still hold a vibration of fear, of lack, of not yet, then that is the command that will be obeyed. For your subconscious is not moved by words alone. It is moved by state. It does not hear the language of your mouth. It hears the feeling tone of your heart, and it will outpicture what is spoken in that still language. Fluent not in syllables, but in certainty. When you fall asleep angry, the law accepts anger as your decree. When you fall asleep longing, the law accepts absence as your truth. But when you fall asleep full of the end, full of the knowing that you already are, already done the thing you once sought, then the law is fulfilled. For it only mirrors what you are, and you, beloved, are always what you go to bed being. I do not ask you to fight the mind. I do not ask you to repeat until your throat is sore. I ask you only this, that you rest as the one you choose to be. Not imagine it coming, not hope for it tomorrow, but lay your head down tonight, as if the world has already shifted, as if the email has already arrived, as if the love has already embraced you, as if the body is already healed, the bank already full, the freedom already lived. If you knew it were true, if you knew it were done, how would you rest? How would you breathe? How would you let go of today? That is the state. That is the feeling. That is the command. This is not imagination as pretense. This is imagination as prophecy. And your final inner vision, your final inner word, your final inner knowing. This is the first cause, and cause cannot help but create. So I ask you now softly and without pressure, what shall you give the womb of God tonight? What shall you surrender into the fertile silence that never forgets? Will you offer it complaint, or will you offer it fulfillment? Will you bring the same old story to the altar, or will you step into a new name, a new identity, and rest in its fragrance? The choice is not difficult. It is immediate, for the gate of sleep is opening, and with it the gate of creation. Choose now. Choose with stillness. Choose with breath. Choose not with effort, but with faith. And let your last thought tonight become the birth of your next reality. State akin to sleep is not merely a step in your manifestation process. It is not a technique to try. It is a threshold to cross. It is the still place where the veil between your surface mind and your deep eternal being grows thin, translucent, holy. It is the sacred edge between the outer man who toils and the inner man who knows. When you enter State, you are not visualizing. You are not pretending. You are returning to the creative seat of God within. You are stepping beyond the turbulence of thought into the smooth, still waters, where all things are possible. In this state, you do not try to make the desire come. You become the one in whom the desire is already fulfilled. You feel it as done. You rest in the feeling, not to get, but because you already are. This is the secret that was hidden from the wise and revealed unto babes. That creation is not built by force, but by assumption, impressed in quiet, sustained in faith. To define Sats merely as the drowsy state between waking and sleep is to miss its majesty. Yes, it is that edge, that soft place where consciousness begins to descend, and the critical faculties begin to dissolve. But it is more than that. It is the mystical mouth of creation. It is the space between two worlds, the fading illusion of the outer and the eternal power of the inner. It is the altar at which you meet God. Not as a supplicant, not as a beggar, but as the son. For here in Sets, your identity is reformed. You are no longer the man who tries or waits or wants. You are the being who speaks, and it is so. You are the consciousness that creates not through striving, but through feeling truthfully in this state. You are more than human. You are the divine imaginer at work. You are the dreamer of reality, and the world will rise to match the rhythm you place within it. Do you understand now why this changes everything? Because the world as you know it is, but the past echo of old assumptions and Sats, is where new assumptions are made alive. It is the soil in which you bury your new name, your new self, your new identity, not with effort but with reverence. It is the ark upon which your desire is laid. And once it is impressed into the silence, it cannot be undone. The rains of evidence may take time to fall, but the covenant is sealed the moment you rest in the feeling of being. And this is why I call you now to Trihas, not as an exercise, but as a nightly returning. You are not practicing. You are remembering. You are not forcing, you are aligning. Each night before you sleep, you enter this inner room, and what you do there is not casual. It is the Word made flesh. It is written in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleepeth upon men. Then he openeth the ears of men, and saith their instruction. You see, even Scripture has pointed to this hour. It is not in the shouting, the ritual, or the outer discipline that man is transformed. It is in the softness, in the yielding, in the moment just before sleep takes you. When the senses fade and the imagination reigns, in that moment you are closest to the source. In that moment your instruction is sealed, not by struggle but by stillness. Sats is the hidden key that the world forgets. And yet it is here that you become one with your fulfilled desire. Tonight you will not pass blindly through this gate. Tonight you will enter as one who knows. You will lie down in the body, but rise in spirit. You will feel the end not as a hope, but as a memory. You will step into the state, wear it, breathe it, rest in it. And the law eternal and unchanging will bring forth what you have conceived in silence. For imagination is the only reality. And in Sat's imagination becomes destiny. The world tells you that night is the end, that sleep is the fading of awareness. That rest is nothing more than a necessary surrender of the body to fatigue. But I tell you now, night is not weakness. It is not absence. It is the hour of command. The night is not the end of creation. It is its holy beginning. You have been taught to worship the light, to seek clarity, action, and visibility as signs of power. But true power lies in the unseen, in the hidden, in the still. And there is no stillness deeper, no concealment more potent than the dark womb of night, into which you descend each evening. The outer man slumbers, but the inner man awakens. For while the senses close, the subconscious opens its gates. While your body lies still upon the bed, your spirit ascends the mountain. And there it speaks with God. You may believe nothing is happening as you sleep, but I say unto you, everything is happening. The most sacred rearrangements of life are conceived, woven, and summoned in that invisible hour, when you drift beneath the threshold of waking thought and enter the silence where I am reigns without rival. The outer world cannot comprehend this power because it seeks results in noise. But the law does not move by noise. The law moves by certainty. It answers not to activity but to alignment. And alignment is born in silence. Every empire is built first in the dark, within the mind, within the imagination, within the place that no eye sees and no hand touches. And you, beloved, are no different. Your wealth, your healing, your love, your purpose, they are not waiting out there in the bright hours of effort. They are here now within, waiting to be received in stillness and believed without proof. When you lie down to sleep, you do not leave life. You enter life's creative center. And if you understand this, if you treat the night not as rest, but as rain, you will discover that every day in obedience to what you decree in the still hours between the worlds, you must not squander the night with anxious review or passive exhaustion. You must not lay your head down as if defeated, as if dismissed by the day's failures. You must enter this hour as a king returns to his throne, as a priest approaches the altar, as a creator steps back into the workshop of form. Your mind now softened is clay, and you are the potter. What you impress now will be shaped. What you assume now will be sealed. What you imagine now will take root. And the morning will begin to echo your silent decrees. Let no man deceive you into thinking this is nothing. The world is full of those who hustle in daylight and sleep in defeat. But few understand that night belongs to the initiated. The sleeper who knows his power does not plead. He proclaims. He does not wonder. He decides. He does not repeat empty mantras. He enters the end and dwells there with joy. So as you lie down tonight, know this. You are not slipping away. You are stepping forward. You are not losing consciousness. You are returning to the center. The darkness is not emptiness. It is fullness awaiting form. The stars themselves were hung in this hour. The galaxies were spun in this sacred void. And now your own world will be reshaped. Not by labor, not by logic, but by the silent knowing you carry into your sleep. The world obeys what you whisper into yourself when no one is watching. Whisper now with boldness. Whisper and let the universe rearrange itself around your word. It does not matter what words you speak if they are not clothed in the garments of felt belief. It is not your vocabulary that creates. It is your vibration. The subconscious does not respond to language. It does not listen to syllables or clever affirmations. It listens only to the music behind your words, the unspoken resonance, the emotional signature you carry into the temple of the night. Your subconscious, beloved, is the faithful servant of your innermost conviction. And though you may cry out with your mouth, "I am wealthy. I am loved. I am free," if in your heart you still feel the ache of lack, the solitude of abandonment, or the chains of limitation, then it is that inner feeling, not your spoken phrase, that shall be obeyed. For the law does not look to your lips. It listens only to the incense rising from the altar of your emotional state. What you feel is what you decree. What you feel is what you are. And what you are is what the world will mirror. Emotion is not weakness. It is the sacred incense of prayer. Every great prophet, every mystic, every awakened soul has known this, whether they called it faith or surrender, or the power of belief. It is not the thought of a thing that brings it forth, but the feeling of already having it. This is why desire, when tinged with anxiety, repels what it seeks. For though the mind says yes, the heart whispers no. And the subconscious always listens to the whisper. You must learn then to craft your feelings with care, not through force or control, but through holy selection. As a priest selects incense for the offering, so you must select your emotional states. Do not feel lack and call it realism. Do not feel doubt and call it discernment. Choose instead to feel the fragrance of the end fulfilled. Choose the scent of completion, of arrival, of rest, even if the world contradicts it, especially when it does. For faith is not the echo of evidence. It is the cause of it. As you prepare to sleep, you must ask not, "What do I want to happen?" but "What am I now feeling to be true?" And if that answer is worry, if that answer is fear, then pause. Do not enter the Holy of Holies. In that vibration, choose again. Speak not to impress your mind, but to shift your state. Let the inner dialogue turn from pleading to praise. Let your inner speech become the speech of one who already has. I remember, when I lacked is more powerful than I want this now. For the former implies fulfillment, while the latter implies absence, and the subconscious does not question. It simply accepts. It accepts whatever you consistently feel to be true, and then moves heaven and earth to reflect it. This is why sleep is sacred, because it is in this moment, when the guard of reason falls and the doors of the heart open wide, that your feeling becomes the command. So tonight, speak less and feel more. Let your breath slow, your muscles soften, and your heart settle into the tone of fulfillment. Visuals may come. Words may rise. Let them, but do not strain, do not grasp. Simply enter the perfume of the state already fulfilled and let it soak into your bones. Let your entire being hum with the frequency of "it is done." You do not need to force belief. You only need to rest in it. The subconscious does not rush. It does not debate. It only receives. And what it receives through feeling, it creates through form. This is the secret of all creation, and it is yours now. Whether you believe it or not, whether you understand it or not, whether you trust it, resist it, honor it, or deny it, the law is always operating. It is not a switch to be turned on by faith and off by fear. It is not a force that pauses in sympathy for your wariness or confusion. It is not silent when you forget it, nor louder when you affirm it. It simply is. Just as gravity pulls without asking your permission, just as the heart beats whether you are conscious or not. The law of assumption. This divine mechanism by which your felt identity is cast into form, functions in every moment, including those you call unconscious. And perhaps most powerfully, in those very moments. When your surface mind fades into sleep, and the gates of the subconscious swing open. You may go to bed thinking you're not doing enough. But the law does not sleep. The law is listening. The law is receiving. The law is responding to your innermost state, not your performance. This is why I say unto you, sleep is not neutral. Sleep is not a void. Sleep is not an escape. It is a portal. And what you carry through that portal will become the blueprint for your waking life. Every emotion you allow to settle in you before sleep becomes a prayer without words. Every assumption you accept as reality before you surrender to the darkness is etched into the soft wax of your soul. And when you rise, that wax begins to harden into form. Most people do not realize this, and so they fall asleep inside the frequency of lack, conflict, disappointment. They dream from the old self, and so they awaken to the same day repeated. They carry yesterday's identity into the infinite potential of night, and the law, ever faithful, mirrors that identity once more. But it need not be so. You have been given the gift of dominion. You may choose what to impress upon yourself before you sleep. You may consecrate your consciousness. You may offer the law a new pattern, and it will accept it not tomorrow but now. There is no off switch. There is no suspension of consequence. Every thought felt with conviction is a seed. And the night is the garden in which those seeds take root. You are not safe from creation while you sleep. You are most exposed to it. But do not let this frighten you. Let it awaken you. Let it baptize your nights in awareness. You do not need to fear the law. You need only understand its faithfulness. It does not mock you. It does not play tricks. It does not delay out of cruelty. It simply reflects. It reflects what you are, what you feel, what you rest in. Not what you perform, but what you embody. The law never sleeps. So let your final moments before sleep be holy. Let them be clean. Let them be drenched in the fragrance of your fulfilled desire. Do not go to bed reviewing your regrets. Do not rehearse your limitations as labis. Do not meditate on the absence of what you long for. That is worshiping the old name. That is bowing to the shadow. Instead, rise within. Ascend the inner hill and bring a new offering, a new feeling, a new assumption. I am already that. This is your nightly covenant. This is the altar on which the law feeds. And as surely as the sun will rise, what you plant in this fertile silence shall spring forth. For the Lord never sleeps, and neither does your creative power. There is something sacred about 21 days, not because the number itself holds magic, but because it represents a cycle of saturation, a period long enough to drown out the voice of the old man and awaken the voice of the new. In 21 days, the body begins to forget old habits. The mind begins to reorient. The self-image, which clings so tightly to the familiar suffering, starts to loosen its grip. But more than biological rhythm or psychological suggestion, these 21 days are a consecration, a spiritual rehearsal in becoming, a holy arc of identity in motion. When you commit to impressing one assumption, just one, with emotional certainty every night for 21 days, you are not merely repeating an idea. You are dying and rising. You are shedding the garments of the old and stepping into the robe of the fulfilled. You are telling your subconscious with consistency and faith, this is who I am now. And the law, the tone of permanence in your vibration, will begin to move everything. people, places, timelines, probabilities to make your world match that claim. The world does not change when you dabble. It does not rearrange itself for those who experiment with assumption like a game. It bows only to the committed inner man, the one who speaks once and never contradicts himself again. And this is the power of 21 days. Not because repetition makes it real, but because immersion erases doubt. Immersion silences the voice that says it's not working. It's not here yet. I don't see the evidence. In these 21 days, you are not looking for proof. You are becoming proof. You are not measuring results. You are installing a new being. A being who no longer needs to manifest because they already are. For when the inner man is changed, the outer world is already obsolete. What used to rule you, circumstances, time, other people's opinions, becomes irrelevant. For you have taken the kingdom within. So I ask you now, not casually but solemnly, to choose this, not to hope for it, not to test it, but to enter into covenant with yourself. For 21 nights, you will go to sleep as the new man. You will not check for progress. You will not wonder if it's working. You will not beg or strive or wait. You will simply dwell. You will feel the wish fulfilled and fall asleep in it. You will let the law do what it always does, reproduce what you are. And if on the second night your mind protests, if on the fifth night your emotions wobble, if on the 12th night the outer world tempts you to return to the old name, you will remain unmoved, because you are not pretending. You are embodying. You are not imagining something distant. You are remembering something already real. And if you do this, if you saturate your being for 21 sacred nights, the world cannot remain as it was. The world must bow. The pattern must break. The door must open. For identity once installed makes all things new. So choose now silently, not with words, but with presence. Choose now inwardly as if you were already living from the new reality. Feel it not as excitement, but as inevitability. This is who you are. This is who you've always been. And now the outer world shall remember too. Do not scatter your power. Do not wander from state to state, like a beggar knocking at 100 doors, hoping that one will open. The law does not respond to confusion. It does not honor indecision. It obeys the one who dares to be single-minded. The one who selects a state not just as a wish, not as a possibility, but as identity, and remains there. The one who does not rehearse lack and then pray for abundance. The one who does not imagine love, but live from loneliness. The one who chooses one assumption and clothes themselves in it so fully that even when the senses scream contradiction, they do not flinch. This is power. This is spiritual authority, and it begins with one choice. I fill in the blank, fill it once, and then live as though that were the only truth that ever existed. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot be two selves. You cannot speak the language of the end and the language of delay in the same breath and expect creation to be clear. The subconscious does not respond to intention. It responds to identity, and identity is singular. You do not become wealthy by wanting wealth. You become wealthy by assuming without wavering that you are. You do not become healed by fighting symptoms. You become healed by resting in wholeness. The old man will beg you to diversify your focus. He will whisper, "Try this too. Hold on to that just in case. What if this doesn't work?" But the new man speaks once and remains silent. He chooses one assumption, one state of being, and walks in it until the world mirrors it back with awe. This is not rigidity. It is devotion. It is spiritual containment. It is energy unfragmented. When you hold only one assumption, you create a vibrational atmosphere. So potent, so saturated with conviction that nothing contrary can breathe in its presence. The world may test you. Time may press against you. But if you remain rooted in your chosen state, the law must conform. It cannot do otherwise. The law has no will of its own. It reflects yours. So be still and decide not what you want, who you are, and then speak it inwardly. Breathe it, sit in it, sleep in it. Let it become the frequency of your being. Not through strain, but through acceptance. For 21 days, let no second thought enter. Let no opposing voice linger. If they arise, dismiss them, not with resistance, but with remembrance. I have already chosen. That is all you have already chosen. And what you have chosen, you shall become, not because you hope, but because you are. So choose now. One state, one name, one end. And let everything else fall away like old garments no longer fit to wear. You must feel it not later, not someday. But now, for it is not the thought that creates. It is the felt experience of already being that which you desire. The law responds not to the wish, but to the assumption fulfilled in feeling. You cannot wait for the outer world to change, and then begin to feel differently. You must invert that order. You must feel differently first, and then the world will take the shape of your inner conviction. This is the great reversal. This is the mystery of creation, hidden in the parables of Scripture and the whispers of your own heart. To live in the end is not to pretend. It is to install the identity so deeply within you that it becomes your nature, your atmosphere, your home. You must carry the aroma of the wish fulfilled before there is any evidence. You must walk as the healed, the loved, the chosen, the wealthy. Not because you are playing a game, but because you have remembered your true name. This feeling is not emotion in the way the world understands it. It is not excitement or elation, though it may include these. It is deeper, quieter, more stable. It is a knowing, a still joy. An anchored certainty that moves without effort and rests without fear. When you install the feeling, you install the end. You give the subconscious a blueprint not of longing, but of being. And the law, faithful and perfect, begins immediately to outpicture that internal scene. The world cannot help but yield to the one who already is. Do not ask how. Do not ask when. The moment you feel it, the process has begun. What seems like delay is simply the time it takes for the echo to reach your outer ears. But the word has already been spoken within, and the world must obey. So I ask you now softly, but with authority. What does it feel like to already have it? Not to hope, not to wish, but to know. To know beyond argument that it is already yours. How would your body rest? How would your breath slow? How would your voice change? Your decisions shift, your mood settle into peace. That feeling, that internal condition of completion, is only thing you must carry into the temple of sleep. Not a vision to chase, but a state to embody. You are not on your way to the fulfillment. You are the fulfillment remembering itself. Let that feeling wrap around you like a cloak. Let it drip down into your bones. Let it become so familiar that you forget what it was like to be without it. This is the secret of all great manifestation. The end is not a place you reach. It is a tone you carry. And if doubt arises, if the old identity knocks at your door, do not fight it. Simply return. Return to the feeling. Return to the end. Return to the stillness of knowing I am already that. This is not a trick. This is not mental gymnastics. This is the law in its purest form. What you feel yourself to be, you become. So install the feeling now, tonight, before you sleep. Install it not with effort, but with surrender. Breathe it in, wear it, sleep in it, and wake into a world that begins to shift, not because you made it happen, but because you remembered who you are. To chase is to confess you are separate. To strive is to declare it is not yet yours. And to desire without dwelling is to remain in the wilderness, longing for a promised land whose gates you never enter. But I tell you, you were never meant to chase. The kingdom does not come by pursuit. It comes by stillness. It comes by dwelling. And to dwell is to remain, to abide, to live in the end, not visit it as a fantasy, not glance at it with fleeting hope, but to settle in it as a home. Most people glimpse their fulfilled desire in imagination, then return immediately to the barrenness of the old self. They visit heaven, then commute back to hell, and they wonder why nothing changes. But the one who dwells does not return to the old. The one who dwells says, "This is my country now. This is where I live. This is who I am." And from that deep and quiet residence, all things come. When you dwell in the end, you do not speak as one becoming. You speak as one remembering. You do not hope. It is done. You do not rehearse. You respond from the reality of it. Your imagination becomes no longer an act of will, but a reflection of your inner condition. There is no effort in it, no tension, no performance. There is only being. You begin to speak differently. You make decisions from the premise that it has already happened. You bless the unfolding, even when you cannot yet see it. You release the need for confirmation because you are no longer waiting. You are simply watching the outer catch up to the inner. You are not trying to manifest. You are abiding in the manifested. Desire, when not fulfilled inwardly, becomes a leaking frequency. It drains you. It keeps you looking, reaching, chasing. But when you dwell, the desire collapses into fulfillment. There is no reaching, only resting, no grasping, only holding. This is the spiritual paradox. Surrender is not passive. Surrender is the highest form of command. When you stop chasing, the world begins to come to you. When you cease to plead, you become magnetic. And when you dwell, the law activates, not as something triggered by performance, but as something drawn by identity. To dwell is to stay, to feel the end, and keep feeling it regardless of appearances. To move through the world as if your desire were already law, and not to force yourself to feel. No, but to relax into it, to let it be the quiet assumption underneath all you say and do. You are not trying. You are not defending it. You are simply being it. And that is enough, more than enough. It is the cause of causes. It is the axis upon which the world turns. So stop chasing. Let go of the reaching. Let the mind soften. Let the heart expand and say inwardly with sacred defiance, "I already am." And then rest in it, sleep in it, move in it, and watch how the outer begins to shape itself, not in chaos, but in order, not in resistance, but in reverence. For the world bows not to your wanting, but to your dwelling. Repetition is not the tool of the desperate. It is the rhythm of creation. Just as the tides do not crash against the shore once, but return again and again in divine cadence, so too must your assumption be revisited. Not out of need, but out of reverence. Not to convince the law, For the law is already convinced, not to persuade the subconscious, for it always obeys, but to dissolve the old self, the one who forgot who it was. You repeat not to attain something new, but to saturate yourself in what is already true. Each repetition is not an effort. It is a return. A return to the feeling, a return to the name, a return to the divine remembrance of your fulfilled state. You do not repeat because the first time didn't work. You repeat because the first time awakened something holy, and now you remain with it until it becomes your second nature. To say I am is to drop a stone into the infinite waters of your being. But if the waters are troubled, if they are full of old thoughts, competing voices, fearful residues of past identities, then one declaration may not yet echo through the depths. But do not mistake that for failure. It is working. The vibration is moving. It is reordering the soul, and with every repetition, the surface settles and the stone sinks deeper, until one day the echo becomes your atmosphere, and what once felt like practice becomes your natural state. You no longer say, I am loved, to convince yourself. You say it because it has become your inner weather. You no longer affirm abundance to escape poverty. You affirm because abundance is now your native tongue. The repetition has rewritten the script, and the script now lives you. Repetition is not mechanical, if it is married to feeling. If you repeat your assumption as rote cold words, the subconscious will not stir. But if each time you speak, you feel even breath, even for a moment, the truth of it, then it is alive. You do not need to force belief. You only need to return to the feeling again and again until it begins to take up residence in your bones. This is why repetition works not as struggle, but as spiritual rhythm. You are not layering new beliefs over old ones. You are dissolving the old in the fire of the new. You are singing one note so consistently that every dissonant frequency must fall silent. And the more often you return, the faster it crystallizes into form. Repeat, not with doubt, but with awe. Say the words not as command, but as remembrance. I am whole. I am free. I am already that. Each utterance is a seed, and the more lovingly you plant it, the more inevitable the harvest. And when doubt arises, and it will repeat not to banish the doubt, but to stand anchored in a deeper truth. You are not fighting thoughts. You are reaffirming identity. You are not chanting to make something happen. You are communing with the state in which it already has. So let your repetition be sacred. Let it be soft. Let it be like breath. Regular, gentle, unforced. Repeat until you believe, and then repeat. Because you do, not because it isn't working, but because it already is. Because you are no longer trying to change your world. You are becoming the one who lives in the changed world. And that, beloved, is a rhythm worth repeating. You are not at the mercy of what happened today. You are not bound by what was said, what was missed, what was lost. You are not condemned to carry the residue of unwanted experience into your dreams and into your tomorrow. For you are the author, not the victim. You are the sculptor, not the statue. And the chisel is yours. Each night before you surrender to sleep, you hold the pen again. You may go back into the scenes of the day and rewrite them, not as denial, but as divine editing. You may take what was spoken in anger and hear it anew in love. You may relive what felt like failure and experience it instead as triumph. You may reshape rejection into acceptance, disappointment into favor, confusion into clarity. And I tell you, this is not fantasy. This is not escapism. This is the law of revision, the sacred art of remembering differently and thereby changing not only your memory, but your entire timeline. For your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what the senses say happened and what you have impressed upon it as reality. It does not argue, it does not analyze, it only accepts. And once accepted, it moves. And once it moves, the outer world must bend to match. So why, beloved, would you faultless sleep nursing wounds, rehearsing offenses, cementing stories of lack and delay? Why would you feed the law with the very things you long to be free from? No. Take back your authorship. Return to the scene and dress it in grace. Speak the words that should have been spoken. See the version of yourself that you meant to be. Feel the outcome that would have left you empowered, whole, free, not as imagination alone, but as a revision of the record, and once revised, never again speak of it as it once was. The old scene is dead, the new has risen. Do this not with strain, but with gentleness. Let it be dreamlike. Let it be slow and symbolic. Let your inner eye wander freely, not to relieve pain, but to install a deeper truth. Use metaphor if needed. If you cannot feel the apology, imagine the wind blew it to you. If you cannot picture success directly, imagine walking out of a room glowing with approval. Your subconscious speaks the language of image and tone, not logic. So speak to it in its own tongue. And as you do, know that you are doing holy work. You are healing the past not to forget it, but to liberate it. You are releasing yourself from the curse of repetition by choosing the memory you will carry. And that memory will not stay hidden. It will rise. It will flower. It will shape tomorrow in its own image. So tonight, before you drift into sleep, look back gently. Choose one scene, one moment, one fragment that still stings or whispers lack, and breathe into it the truth of who you now are. Revise it, rewrite it, reseed it, not to erase your life, but to redeem it. And when you have done so, say no more. Let it go. And let the law, eternal and unwavering, take the new script and bring forth the world to match. You are not bound to what was. You are bound only to what you accept. And you, dear one, are free to accept something greater. Now, the law of reversibility is the hidden doorway into miracles. And sleep is where it swings open most effortlessly. For what the world calls cause and effect, the mystic sees as a sacred mirror, fluid, interchangeable, indivisible. If a certain feeling can arise because a thing has happened, then by divine right and metaphysical law, that same feeling, when assumed consciously, must bring about the thing itself. It is not wishful thinking. It is sacred causality. If joy arises when love arrives, then joy must summon love. If confidence is the byproduct of achievement, then confidence must proceed and therefore produce it. And the great secret is this. In sleep, you bypass the resistance of reason, the argument of circumstance, the tyranny of your senses. In sleep, you are no longer limited by the shell of logic. You are free to feel a feels without reference, without justification, without needing evidence. This is why I say the body may rest, but your word does not. The conscious mind may fade, but your I am remains awake, sowing seeds into the infinite field of becoming. If you enter sleep with the feeling of lack, the subconscious receives it as your reality, and the outer must reflect it. But if you enter the holy stillness of night, with the felt conviction that you are already the man, already the woman, already the one who possesses the fulfilled desire, then that feeling is not a hope, It is a command, and the law being reversible must bring into form the scene that matches it. This is not abstraction. This is not theory. This is the way of creation. The feeling you fall asleep in will rise again as form. It will take on skin. It will walk beside you. It will speak in the voice of others. It will arrive not because you pushed, but because you felt it into being. So tonight I ask you to reverse the process instead of waiting for the world to give you a reason to feel fulfilled. Feel fulfilled first. Feel it in the quiet. Feel it in the dark. Feel it with no one watching. No applause, no proof. Let your breath slow into the rhythm of the answered prayer. Let your body rest as if it were already whole, already loved, already radiant with purpose. Let the muscles loosen, the jaw unclench, the chest rise and fall in the cadence of the one who no longer needs to try, because you are not trying anymore. You are being. And that being is the seed. That being is the cause. That being felt deeply and without contradiction must bring forth its likeness in the world of form. The law cannot deny it. Do not ask how. Do not calculate the mechanics. Just remember, if the feeling can be caused by the event, then the feeling can cause the event. This is the law of reversibility. This is the master key. And tonight in sleep, it is yours to use. Lay down in the state of the wish fulfilled, not with tension, but with reverence. Not with performance, but with certainty. Your body sleeps, yes, but your word awakens. And what it speaks in silence will not return void. You are not a seeker anymore. You are not a beggar, standing outside the gates of your own kingdom, pleading for admittance, waiting for signs, doubting the invitation. You are the dreamer, not one who escapes into fantasy, but the one who understands that all reality is a dream imagined into form, and that the dreamer is the first cause of all. You are the one who imagines not in vain, but in power. You are not asking life to give you what you want. You are remembering that it has already been given. To become the dreamer who knows is to stop trying to awaken the world and instead awaken yourself. It is to realize that everything you behold, every person, every event, every outcome is yourself pushed out. The dream in which you walk, and the echo of what you have believed yourself to be. And once you know this, truly know this, you are no longer at the mercy of appearances. You do not wait for change. You walk in the change already assumed. To dream in ignorance is to live in chaos, reacting to shadows and calling it reality. But to dream in awareness is to govern with silent majesty. The world may say you are deluded. The world may insist that you face facts. But I say unto you, the facts will follow your face if you turn it inward. What you feel yourself to be with conviction, regardless of outer circumstance, must become. There is no waiting. There is only aligning. And when you align with the state of already having, already being, already fulfilled, you do not hope. You recall, you say, not it will come. But I remember when it wasn't here. This is the posture of the dreamer who knows. Not arrogant, not boastful, but calm, still, certain, rooted in the knowing that all things are finished, and that assumption is the bridge to their visibility. You do not need to convince others. You do not need to perform for your own doubt. You need only stay in the memory of the fulfilled end, not as fantasy, but as fact. This is the most radical act you can take, to dwell in what you cannot yet see, and to do so without wavering. And the irony, the holy paradox, is that once you truly dwell in it, the need to see it vanishes. You are no longer hungry for evidence. You are satisfied. And from that satisfaction, the outer begins to shift. Not because you chased it, but because you finally stopped chasing. The dreamer who knows does not grasp. He rests. She trusts. They remember. And that remembrance is creative. So tonight before you sleep, let the old seeker die. Let the one who prayed from lack, who visualized from desperation, who affirmed from fear, let that self dissolve. And let the dreamer rise. The one who knows. The one who no longer asks but decrees. The one who does not look to the senses for proof, but looks within and feels the thing is done. Not because it might be, but because it is. I am it. I do not hope for it. I recall it. This is your name now, and the dream is responding. There is a formula, but it is not mechanical. It is not rigid. It is not some modern ritual dressed in spiritual language. It is sacred because it is simple, because it has always been true, buried beneath centuries of noise, hidden under the debris of effort, penance, and striving. This is not something I have invented. It is something I have remembered. It is something you too once knew. And now you remember again. The formula is this. Select the assumption. Feel it done. Align your inner speech with it. Lie down in stillness and mentally dwell in it. That is all. Not once, not occasionally, but faithfully, reverently, nightly, as you would return to a beloved. For when the body rests and the mind grows still, you return to the sanctuary of God, and what you carry there is magnified, consecrated, and ultimately outpictured. First, select the assumption. This is your I am declaration. Your chosen identity. Not your desire as an object apart from you, but your decision to be the one who already has it. I am wealthy. I am loved. I am free. You do not choose from logic. You do not choose from your current bank account, or your current diagnosis, or your current loneliness. You choose from the spirit, the secret place, the knowing beyond sense. You select the state as a garment already tailored for you. One that fits, one that breathes, one that feels like home. Choose once, choose well, choose without apology. Second, feel it done. Not in theory, not as performance, but as being. Imagine not the process, but the result. Imagine not becoming, but being. What would it feel like if it were already yours? Would your breath change? Would your body loosen? Would your chest lift with relief? Let that be the feeling. Saturate in it. Let it soak into the marrow. This is not pretense. It is prophecy. This is not delusion. It is the highest form of realism. For the subconscious does not wait for proof. It waits for your certainty. And that certainty is the fragrance of the end fulfilled. Third, speak only what aligns. Let your inner speech, the quiet commentary of your being, match the state you've selected. Do not let the old man narrate your night. Do not let worry rehearse lack. When doubt arises, replace it not with argument, but with remembrance. I have already chosen. Speak inwardly from the end. Let your thoughts be conversations with those who already know you as the fulfilled one. Let your words be echoes of the world that is already here, even if unseen. Thank you for your congratulations. Wasn't it beautiful when it arrived? I knew it would come. Fourth, lie down in stillness, not as one waiting, but as one who has received. Enter sleep as the fulfilled man, the fulfilled woman. Let the body carry the feeling into the silence. Let the breath be easy. Let the mind be quiet. Do not effort. Do not grasp. Rest. And in that rest, creation begins. For what you are in that final stillness is what the law receives. and what the law receives, it brings forth. This is the sacred formula. Not to get, but become, not to manifest, but to remember, not to perform, but to install. And when you do this, not for one night, but as your practice, you art your covenant. You will not need to chase results. The results will chase you. You will not need to force change. The world will shift to accommodate your vibration, because you have selected, you have felt, you have spoken, you have rested, and the law has said is done. Before you sleep tonight, I speak this into you, not as a thought to consider, not as a hope to reach for, but as the very truth of your being. You are already it. Not becoming, not preparing, not almost. You are the inner voice. The one speaking even now is not a voice outside of you. It is not Neville. It is not a teacher, a guide, or a guru. It is your own soul. Your own I am clothed in reminding you what you once knew before the world told you to forget. You have searched in books, in systems, in rituals and teachers, but the voice you truly longed to hear was your own. Your divine self whispering, beneath the noise of striving, beneath the prayers of desperation, beneath the layers of identity, accumulated like dust upon your original name. And now in this stillness before sleep, it returns not loud, not demanding, but calm, like the breath that rises without effort, like the truth that never needed to be proven, like the God you have always been. You do not need to seek miracles. You are the miracle remembering itself. You do not need to prove your worth. You are already worthy, already chosen, already crowned. The voice within you says, I am. And that is enough. Let no one else name you. Let no outer world define you. The mirror lies until the imagination speaks. And once it speaks, once you feel the truth of already being, the world will catch up. The reflection will shift. And everything that once seemed fixed will melt into alignment. But none of this begins in doing. It begins in hearing. It begins in this moment, in this breath, in this divine silence that swells with the fullness of your unseen reality. So close your eyes now, not as one escaping life, but as one returning to the place where life begins. Fall into the dark, not as a void, but as the womb of new creation. Carry with you no memory of lack, no echo of striving, only the inner decree, I am. Let that be your last thought. Let that be your inner whisper. Let that be the final sound that drifts down into the heart of your being, where it will take root and rise in the coming days as form, as evidence, as the world bending to reflect your new state. Heaven moves in the silence of the I am. Not with noise, not with force, not with spectacle, but with stillness. This voice in you, this knowing, this gentle power is not waiting for instruction. It is giving instruction. It is the Word made flesh. It is the divine speaking itself into form through you. So say nothing more. Ask for nothing more. Simply move now as if the world must follow, because it will. Because the dreamer has remembered. Because the voice has spoken. And because the law never fails. Say nothing. Move as if the world must follow. Sleep now as who you already are. Now let us journey together into the heart of the struggle that has kept money at arm's length. Despite all your fervent prayers, all your spoken affirmations, and all the efforts you've made, you've cried out to the heavens, haven't you? With a heart full of longing, with desperation tinged by a quiet belief that the universe is somehow withholding from you, you have prayed. And yet the answer seems to never come. You have begged for provision, pleaded for divine intervention, and cried for the release of financial struggles that have long held you captive. And in that struggle, you have failed to see one of the greatest truths of creation: that the very act of begging, the very act of striving speaks to the universe, not of abundance, but of lack, not of divine inheritance, but of separation from it. In truth, prayer is not a plea for what is not already yours. Prayer is not begging. It is not calling out to a distant God who must decide whether or not to bless you. It is a declaration, a decree, an assumption of the fulfillment of what you have already imagined. And yet you have been praying in a way that assumes you are separate from your desire, that the blessings you seek are distant, far removed from your grasp. You have spoken with words of lack, not realizing that the subconscious mind, which is the power of God in action, hears every word you speak and shapes reality accordingly. The law is simple. What you assume to be true, whether in faith or doubt, whether consciously or unconsciously, will be impressed upon the subconscious mind and made real in your world. The prayers you've offered, though full of earnestness, have not been in alignment with the truth of your divine inheritance. You have prayed as though you were asking for something you didn't already have, as though you were a beggar pleading for scraps. But you are not a beggar. You are an heir to the kingdom of heaven, and the riches of the universe have already been laid out before you, already waiting to be claimed. Every time you asked for money, every time you asked for provision, the universe, responding to your assumption, continued to keep it distant. Why? Because in that prayer, you failed to assume that it was already yours. You failed to assume the state of already having, and in the absence of that assumption, the divine law could not act. Think of it as this: when a king prays, he does not beg for his inheritance. A king does not ask for what he is already entitled to. He simply knows that it is his by birthright, and thus he lives in the confident assumption of his wealth and power. And the universe, being as faithful as the law of gravity, responds accordingly. But when you pray from a place of lack, you are telling the universe that you do not yet have, that you are not yet the one who walks in divine supply. And so the universe, being the perfect servant of your assumption, continues to keep your blessings at a distance. Now, in this moment, as you listen to these words, I invite you to drop that heavy cloak of begging prayer, of pleading to something outside of you that you believe holds your prosperity. It is not external forces you need to sway. It is your own consciousness that must shift. When you pray, know that you are not asking for anything that isn't already yours. You are not pleading for favor, but declaring the favor that is already upon you, already living within you, already sealed in the universe's laws. The act of praying for something you lack sends a vibration of need into the universe. The universe only responds to the vibration you emit, and that vibration cannot be of lack and of overflow at the same time. It must be one or the other. You cannot speak of abundance and then feel the absence of it within you. You cannot declare yourself rich while simultaneously thinking of yourself as poor. You cannot pray for money while feeling that money is scarce. The vibration must be in alignment with the truth of what you want to manifest. So I tell you now, let go of the prayer of begging, of asking, of pleading. In its place, assume the prayer of fulfillment, of already having, of already being what you wish to manifest. The prayer of true wealth is simply the assumption of abundance, not in the future, but in this moment now, as a living truth within you. And now, beloved, let us delve deeper into the very root of the struggle, the unseen force that has kept you from the overflowing wealth you so deeply desire. For while you have been praying, affirming and striving, there exists a silent hidden gap, a vibrational gap that stands between you and the abundance you seek. You may not have seen it, but this gap has silently dictated the flow of your life, dictating that the blessings you long for cannot fully arrive until this gap is bridged. You see, the law of attraction and the law of creation are not merely abstract concepts to be studied from a distance. They are the very laws that govern your life. And just as a magnet, when reversed, will repel the very thing it was meant to attract, so too does your vibration, the state of consciousness you hold within you, either attract or repel the very blessings you long for. And this, beloved, is where the secret lies. This vibrational gap exists because in your heart there is still the subtle belief that wealth, abundance, and provision are something to be attained, something to be fought for, something outside of you. You may consciously affirm that money is yours, but deep within there remains an underlying vibration of separation, a quiet but persistent belief that wealth must be earned through labor or struggle, that it is outside of you, far from you, something that only the fortunate or the hardworking can possess. This belief creates a gap, an invisible wall between you and the divine flow of abundance. And this gap is filled with doubts, fears, and old paradigms of scarcity that keep you from fully embracing your true nature as a creator of reality. And so you continue to live in a state of disconnection, a disconnection not from God, but from the truth of who you truly are. You see, when you perceive yourself as separate from your abundance, when you believe that wealth is something you must chase, it creates a vibration of lack. This vibration of lack, no matter how well-intentioned your prayers may be, continues to repel the very blessings you seek. And until this vibrational gap is bridged, you will continue to feel as though you are striving in vain. It's like trying to catch the wind with your bare hands. No matter how hard you try, it slips through your fingers. The more you chase, the further it seems to get. But beloved, here is the revelation. When you stop chasing, when you stop believing that wealth is outside of you, when you rest in the awareness that all that you seek is already yours, you bridge the gap. You become one with the very flow of abundance. And at that moment, you will begin to experience the truth of what Neville, Goddard has taught, that imagination creates reality, and that you are not separate from your good. This gap, this disconnection exists because you have been taught that you must earn or fight for abundance. You have been taught that provision is a distant gift given only to the worthy, only to the deserving. But I tell you now that this is a lie. The abundance you seek is already present. It is already yours. And you do not need to struggle or strive to bring it into your life. What you truly need is not more effort, but a shift in perception, a shift in vibration, a shift in consciousness. The moment you stop perceiving yourself as lacking, stop seeing abundance as something outside of you, you will find that it begins to flow toward you effortlessly, like a river that always follows its course. You see, money, like all manifestations, follows the flow of consciousness. It follows the frequency of your being. If your vibration is aligned with lack, if you see yourself as unworthy, as separate from the riches of the universe, you will continue to repel wealth and abundance. But when you shift your vibration, when you begin to see money not as something distant, but as something already flowing to you, already available, already here, your entire being shifts, and the universe must mirror that shift. As Neville Goddard said, imagination creates reality. And when your imagination is no longer occupied with thoughts of lack, when your imagination is filled with the images of abundance and prosperity, the external world must match the internal vision. And so, beloved, I invite you to see this vibrational gap not as something insurmountable, but as a simple misunderstanding of your true nature. It is not a wall that must be broken down with effort. It is a veil to be lifted with the quiet awareness that you are already the one who walks in divine abundance. You are not the seeker. You are the sort. You are not the beggar. You are the heir to a limitless kingdom. And the moment you embrace this truth, the moment you raise your vibration to the frequency of divine abundance, the gap will dissolve and money will not chase you. It will find you. It will surround you. It will overwhelm you with its presence, for it is already yours. And now, beloved, as we stand upon the precipice of a great revelation, let us enter into the true meaning of prayer. For prayer is not the desperate cry, of one who believes they are cut off from their good, nor is it the repetition of words spoken with a sense of duty or obligation. True prayer, as Neville Goddard so profoundly teaches, is not a plea. It is not an attempt to persuade God to change his mind about your situation. It is a complete and total assumption, an inner act of faith in which you feel the reality of the wish already fulfilled. And as you feel it, the universe must bring it into being. Prayer in this divine understanding is not about requesting or begging, but about assuming deeply and fully that what you desire is already yours and living as though it is so, for it has already been given. Imagine for a moment a king who stands in his own palace, the throne room filled with treasures, surrounded by servants and riches beyond measure. The king does not beg for food, for clothing, or for favor. These things are already his. He does not strive to prove his worthiness. He knows that his very birthright is wealth, that everything in his kingdom exists for his use, and that provision flows effortlessly, because it is his by nature. So it is with you. You are not a beggar at the gates of heaven asking for crumbs. You are the heir to the kingdom, and the treasures of heaven are yours by divine inheritance. When you pray in the way Neville describes, you do not plead for what you do not have. You assume with divine authority that the blessing is already yours and live as though it is. True prayer, then, is an act of inner realization, an act of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, a moment of complete surrender into the knowing that your desire is already reality and it cannot help but unfold before you. When you understand this, you will no longer need to cry out to a distant God to send you your good. The very act of feeling and assuming that you already possess it will bring it forth from the invisible realm into the visible world. This is the true power of prayer. To speak as though it has already been done, to stand in the end, as if it has already come to pass. You are not waiting for the answer. You are living in the answer. And from that state of fulfillment, all things must materialize. Neville often spoke of the law of assumption, the simple yet profound truth that assumes the feeling of the wish fulfilled and watches as the universe conforms to that assumption. You see, the universe is not judging or evaluating your worthiness or effort. It is responding only to the vibration you put forth. The moment you assume the state of already having, the moment you feel the richness, the abundance, the divine favor that you have asked for, the universe must bring it to you. It has no choice but to follow your decree. Your imagination, when it is in alignment with divine truth, becomes the creative force that brings all things into existence. What you assume to be true in feeling is made visible in the world around you. This prayer then is not the asking of a supplicant. It is the command of a king. It is the declaration of the sovereign soul who knows that everything in the universe exists for them, that there is no separation between their inner world and their outer experience. It is not about striving to change God's will. It is about realizing that you are already one with God, that His will, His blessings, His provision are already yours, and that in this moment you are one with all that you desire. This is not a distant promise. It is an eternal reality. You need only to assume. The feeling of having to feel the joy and peace of already being who you wish to be, and everything you seek must appear. To pray then is to speak from the end. It is not to ask for something to come. It is to live as though it has already arrived. To dwell in the state of knowing that you have already received your heart's desire. When you understand this, you will see that prayer is not about reaching up to the heavens to ask for blessings that seem far away. It is about sinking into the inner realization that all blessings are already here, already yours, and always have been. The key is not to chase them, to run after them with desperate hands. The key is to rest in the assumption that they are already with you, that they are already part of you, and to speak, feel, and act from that place of fulfillment. And now, beloved, let us fully open our hearts to the deep, radiant truth that divine overflow follows awareness. Not effort, not struggle, not the endless reaching towards something that feels distant or unattainable, but awareness. Awareness is the seed of creation. And the moment your consciousness shifts, the moment you understand that the very source of your supply is not separate from you, but is you in your truest essence, everything around you must change. The overflow you have been praying for, the wealth you have been seeking, is not somewhere outside of you, waiting to be attained by effort or some external force. It is a direct reflection of your inner state, a mirror of your consciousness. And when that consciousness shifts, the world must respond in kind. What you are seeking in the outer world is already present in the invisible realm, waiting to be brought into your experience by the simple act of raising your awareness to the truth of your own divine inheritance. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in the center of a vast ocean of supply. An ocean that stretches to the horizon in every direction. An ocean so vast that you could never run out. So endless that its abundance could never be exhausted. And yet you stand with your hands at your sides, looking outward, waiting for the tide to rise, waiting for something to happen. When in reality all you need to do is step forward, to raise your awareness, to recognize that the ocean is already here, and always has been. The overflow is not a distant wave. It is the very air you breathe, the very ground beneath your feet. And the moment you shift your consciousness to this knowing, the tide will rise to meet you. It will fill your life with blessings that you did not need to chase, that you did not need to pursue, but that you naturally attracted by simply recognizing what was already yours. This is the secret to divine overflow. It follows awareness. When you see yourself as abundant, when you feel the divine flow of supply as already present, when you assume that you are worthy of all the good the universe has to offer, the world cannot help but reflect that knowing. Wealth, opportunities, love, health, everything you desire is a reflection of your inner awareness. And as you raise that awareness, the external world must shift to match. You will find that blessings no longer need to be earned. They follow you effortlessly. They follow you aligned yourself with the law of divine attraction, where the law of assumption and the law of vibration meet. This is not a matter of effort or time. It is a matter of consciousness. The moment you assume the feeling of fulfillment, the moment you recognize that you are already in possession of what you seek, you lift yourself to the frequency of that desire. And from there, the universe being the perfect reflection of your state brings it to you. It brings it to you. Not because you have earned it, but because it is a natural consequence of your shift in awareness. You cannot call abundance into your life through struggle or force. You call it forth by simply realizing that abundance is not something outside of you. It is what you are. It is your true nature. And when you live from this truth, when you vibrate with the knowing that everything you desire is already here and already yours, overflow must follow. Imagine the universe as a great cosmic mirror, always reflecting back to you the images you hold within. If you see yourself as lacking, the mirror will reflect lack. If you see yourself as abundant, the mirror will reflect abundance. It is not the outer world that dictates your wealth. It is your inner vision that shapes your world. And as you raise your awareness to the truth of your divinity, to the truth that you are already living in a state of infinite supply, the mirror will shift and the overflow you have long awaited will begin to manifest. You do not need to strain or push against the current. You simply need to align yourself with it to recognize that you are already in the flow of divine abundance. And as you do, everything you desire will come rushing toward you. Not because you chased it, but because you recognized your oneness with it. And when you truly embrace this awareness, beloved, when you know deep within your bones that you are the source of all that you seek, you will see the world around you begin to transform in ways you could not have imagined. The wealth that once seemed distant will flow toward you effortlessly. Opportunities will present themselves to you at every turn. And you will find that provision is not something you have to fight for. It is already in your hands, already in your life, simply waiting to be recognized. This is the power of awareness, the power of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the power of recognizing that overflow does not need to be summoned. It only needs to be embraced. And when you embrace it, when you raise your consciousness to the truth of abundance, you will find that overflow will chase you down. It will pursue you with the same fervor that you once thought you had to chase it with. And the cycle of lack will finally be broken. Now that we have uncovered the law that governs overflow, now that we have released the need for struggle, and have stepped into the knowing that divine supply is already flowing toward us. It is time to step into the living act of prayer, not as a beggar pleading for what they do not yet have, but as the sovereign creator who knows that all things are already fulfilled in the invisible realm, waiting only for recognition and acknowledgement in the visible. Prayer, beloved, is not about asking for something that is out there waiting to be found. Nor is it about striving for blessings that feel distant and unattainable. True prayer is the assumption of the feeling, already having of living, as though your desires have already been manifested of walking in the divine knowing that you are already walking in your blessings, and that the universe is simply catching up to reflect your inner truth. This is the prayer that shifts your vibration, that aligns you with divine abundance and allows money and all other forms of wealth to flow into your life, naturally as a river finds its path to the sea. To begin this prayer, find a place of quiet, of stillness. Close your eyes and release the weight of the world from your shoulders. Let go of the tension in your body, the tightness in your chest, the worry that has been clinging to you like old heavy garments. Breathe deeply and slowly, allowing the air to fill you with the peace of knowing that all is well, that all is already provided for. Feel your body relax, as though you have just stepped into the warmth of a sacred embrace. You are here now in this moment, safe and secure. And in this stillness, we begin the prayer of fulfillment. Now, let the words rise within you, not as a request, but as a divine declaration. I am the overflowing abundance of God. Every blessing rises to meet me now. Say these words not with urgency but with deep knowing, with the certainty of a king, declaring the truth of his inheritance. Feel the weight of those words settle into your being, as though you are not speaking them to an outside world, but to the universe within. You, the creative power that breathes life into every desire you have ever held. I am the overflowing abundance of God. Let the truth of this resonate within every fiber of your being. For you are not asking for something to come to you. You are declaring what has always been yours, what has already been fulfilled in the eternal now. As you speak these words, feel them move through you like a powerful current of light sweeping away every thought of lack, every doubt, every old belief that told you money is hard to attain or that blessings are meant only for a select few. Feel the heaviness of struggle dissolve from your consciousness, like a fog lifting to reveal the sun. And let the warmth of that truth fill you, knowing that all that you desire is already flowing toward you. The words you speak are not just words. They are creative commands, activating the divine law that must respond to your vibration, to the truth you declare in this very moment. I am the overflowing abundance of God. Every blessing rises to meet me now. Feel it with every breath you take. Feel it in your chest, your heart, your very soul. It is done. It has always been done. As you stand in the truth of these words, imagine your entire being vibrating with the certainty of your abundance. Visualize the universe itself, the very fabric of creation, aligning with your words and drawing forth every good thing you have ever desired. See money flowing effortlessly into your life. See opportunities arriving at your door. See every need and desire already fulfilled not in some distant future, but in this moment now. Feel yourself surrounded by overflowing blessings, gifts, resources, opportunities, all appearing with ease, arriving without effort, because they are responding to the powerful vibration of your assumption. You have declared, and it is so. In this prayer, you are not merely wishing or hoping. You are living as though the blessings are already yours. Because in the realm of imagination, in the realm of assumption, they already are. The universe does not respond to your words alone. It responds to your feelings, to your inner knowing, to the deep, unquestionable certainty that your desires are already fulfilled. And that overflow is not something to be chased or earned, but something that follows you because you are aligned with it. Let this prayer sink deep into your subconscious. Speak it over and over slowly, gently, each time with more conviction, more faith, more trust in the law of divine abundance. As you speak these words, let them settle into the soil of your mind. Let them take root. And in time, you will watch as they begin to sprout in the form of the blessings you have already assumed. Money, prosperity, opportunities, they are all already yours. And they are drawn to you by the light of your consciousness, by the power of your assumption. Now, beloved, having spoken the words of divine fulfillment, we move deeper into the sacred act of visualization and silent decree. For prayer, as Neville Goddard teaches, is not only a verbal declaration. It is an entire state of being, a state where you imagine, feel, and see yourself as already possessing what you desire. It is in this process of mental imagery, of seeing in the mind's eye what has already been completed in the inner world, that we truly unlock the power of the universe to shape our outer reality. And so I invite you to close your eyes once more, not as a mere exercise, but as an invitation to enter the realm where all things are created, the realm of imagination, the realm of the mind, the realm of God in action. In this moment, let the noise of the world fade away. Let it fall to the background. As you turn inward to the quiet, sacred space, where your desires are already fulfilled, where every good thing you seek has already arrived, where the very atmosphere around you is charged with the fullness of divine provision. Feel yourself becoming lighter, not in body, but in consciousness, as though you are rising above the weight of earthly concern, above the need to chase or strive, and into a state of perfect peace, knowing that the universe has already delivered your abundance. Now, with your eyes closed and your mind at peace, begin to visualize your life as already overflowing with divine provision. See yourself standing in the middle of a room filled with abundance. Money, gifts, opportunities, overflowing joy, all of it surrounding you like an endless river, cascading into your life without effort, without resistance. See your bank account filled beyond measure. See opportunities for success and joy falling into your lap. See the faces of those you love radiating happiness because of the abundance you have created. You are the center of this world. You are visualizing not as someone seeking, but as someone who has already received, someone who has already experienced the fullness of life that you've long desired. In this space, let yourself feel the weight of that abundance. Feel it not as a thought or an idea, but as a physical presence in your life. Feel the richness of it in every fiber of your being. Feel the comfort, the security, the freedom that comes with knowing you are provided for beyond measure. Let yourself experience this reality in full detail. Feel the texture of the bills in your hands. See the numbers on your bank statement. Hear the sounds of success and laughter and peace all around you. See yourself walking through your life with a quiet, unshakable confidence that every need is already met, that you are already surrounded by more than enough. And as you hold this vision, begin to speak silently to yourself without the need for external words, but in the depth of your being, with the full authority of your divine I Am consciousness. It is done. I am already supplied. Overflow is my natural state. All that I have desired is already mine. And I stand in the full and complete knowledge that I am the living embodiment of divine abundance. I am wealth. I am success. I am provision. I am the very magnet of divine overflow. And it seeks me now in this moment from all directions effortlessly and without delay. Feel these words settle into your heart, not as mere affirmations, but as the law of life itself being realized in you. Every repetition of this silent decree strengthens your connection to the abundant life that is already waiting to be revealed. With each silent word, feel your vibration rise higher. Feel the current of divine abundance flowing more freely within you, drawing all that you desire toward you. You do not need to push. You do not need to force. You do not need to chase. You simply need to remain still, confident in the knowledge that the moment you speak these words, the universe begins to rearrange itself to reflect your assumption. And now let the imagery in your mind grow even clearer. Imagine that the wealth you have visualized is no longer a distant dream or a fantasy you hope for. It is now your reality. See the tangible signs of overflow in your life. Imagine opening your mailbox and finding it filled with checks, gifts, and unexpected sources of income. See the people around you responding to you with respect and admiration, because they can feel the power of divine supply in your presence. See yourself living the life you had always desired, not because you fought for it, not because you chased it, but because you rested in the knowledge that was already yours. And now it has simply materialized in your world. As you continue to visualize, as you continue to affirm in your heart the truth of your abundance, let the feeling of gratitude sweep over you like a warm breeze. Feel the peace that comes with knowing everything is already taken care of, that every good thing you have imagined is already yours, waiting only for the world to catch up. Rest in this peace, knowing that as you continue to dwell in this awareness, overflow will not only chase you down, it will surround you, fill your life with blessings, and lead you to a life of ease, prosperity, and divine favor. This is the power of visualization and silent decree, the living process of imagining and assuming that which is already true. And in this process, you do not ask for what you desire. You claim it, you live it, you feel it, and as you do, the universe must mirror it back to you in abundance beyond your wildest dreams. And now, as we stand together at the threshold of this profound revelation, the moment has come for the final and most sacred transformation, to step fully into the identity of the one who no longer seeks, who no longer desires or prays for provision, because they know with every fiber of their being that they are already the living embodiment of overflow. This is the great initiation where you no longer ask for abundance to fall from heaven, because you have come to understand that it has always been within you, always available, always yours to claim. You are not here to beg or plead with a distant force to provide. You are here to remember that you are the force, that the very essence of divine abundance is alive within you, and that the overflow of heaven follows you. It surrounds you. It chases you down in response to your consciousness. Can you feel this truth begin to sink deep into your being? You are not just a human asking for things to come into your life. You are the divine creator in human form. And every word you speak, every thought you hold, every assumption you make becomes the law by which your world is shaped. This is why Neville taught that imagination creates reality. Because the world you see around you is the reflection of the internal world you have been living in all along. And when you elevate your inner state, when you raise your vibration to match the abundance you desire, the world cannot help but mirror that change. You do not need to struggle for money. You do not need to force blessings to come to you. All that is required of you is to remember who you truly are, an eternal creator worthy of all the riches and blessings the universe has to offer. Now I invite you to stand tall, in this knowledge to step into your divine inheritance, with the quiet, unshakable confidence of one who has remembered their true nature. Imagine yourself for a moment, walking through your world as one who has already received everything they have ever asked for. One who is surrounded by abundance at every turn, not because they chased it or worked harder for it, but because they became it. Picture yourself waking up each morning with a deep, peaceful, knowing that everything you need is already provided for, that you are already wealthy in every way, mentally, emotionally, and physically. See yourself moving through your day with ease, with the knowledge that provision follows you wherever you go, that opportunities unfold before you without effort, and that you are living in divine flow of abundance because you have finally aligned yourself with it. You are not a beggar at the gates of heaven hoping to receive. You are the heir, the one who sits at the table of divine supply and knows that there is more than enough for all. You do not need to plead for a miracle. You are the miracle, and the universe responds to you not because you are desperate, but because you have claimed your rightful place as the creator of your reality. This is what Neville spoke of when he said that prayer is the realization of the wish fulfilled. You do not need to strive, to reach, to force. It is done the moment you assume the state of already having, the moment you embody the fullness of your desires. And the universe must reflect that assumption with tangible material results. As you embody this new identity, there will be no more waiting, no more wishing, no more wondering when the blessings will arrive. They will already be here. You will walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows that every need is already met, that every desire is already fulfilled, and that overflow is not something that will someday come. It is your present reality. Your identity is no longer tied to the person who once lacked or struggled for abundance. You have transcended that old self, and you now stand in the full recognition of your divine power to create and receive all that you desire and even more. Let this knowing fill you with peace, with certainty, with grace. You are the living embodiment of divine overflow, and nothing in the world can take this truth from you. Every time you look around, you will see the blessings that are following you, chasing you down, overtaking you in ways you never expected. You will begin to witness the power of your own assumption as money, love, health, and opportunities flow to you as effortlessly as the air you breathe. And as you live in this state, the world will marvel at your peace, at your effortless success, at the way everything in your life seems to come together in perfect harmony. They will not understand how it happened, but you will know it happened because you remembered who you truly are. You are the creator, the divine manifestation of God's abundance, and you were always worthy of it. And so from this moment forward, walk as one who knows. Walk as one who has already received. Speak only from the place of fulfillment, from the place of knowing that you are divinely provided for. And watch as the world around you shifts to mirror this new reality. Do not look for signs. Do not search for proof. Let the proof come to you. Let it find you in every corner of your life. For you are no longer the seeker of blessings. You are the living testament to the law of abundance, to the law of assumption, and to the law of creation itself. The universe will no longer withhold from you, because you have awakened to the truth that it has always been yours. And now, beloved, as we close this sacred time together, I invite you to not merely listen to these words as transient teachings, but to let them root deeply within your soul, to let them become the steady rhythm of your life, the unshakable foundation upon which your world will be built. For the truth we have touched here is not a fleeting whisper to be forgotten with time. It is the eternal law, the law of divine abundance, of overflow, of ease and provision. And this law is as immutable as the stars in the sky, as certain as the sun rises each day. And it is now yours to claim, yours to live, and yours to embody with every breath, every thought, and every word you speak. This prayer we have shared, this sacred affirmation of already having, of already being, what you once believed you lacked, is not just for today or for this moment. It is not just an exercise, a technique, a trick to pull you out of financial struggle in an instant. No. This prayer is a living, breathing truth. A truth that must be practiced daily, integrated into the very fabric of your being, until it becomes the natural, effortless way in which you walk through this world. Just as you breathe without thinking, just as you move through your days without forcing each step, so too must you begin to speak from this place of fulfillment, to rest in this state of overflow, and to expect without doubt that all good things are drawn to you by the power of your inner knowing. This prayer, when repeated, when meditated upon, when spoken from the deepest place of your heart, does not merely request blessings. It affirms that they are already here, already present, already yours. And as you return to again and again, each time you speak it, you will feel the vibrational shift within you. You will feel yourself rising in consciousness, becoming more aligned with the divine flow of abundance. With every repetition, with every moment of faith in this truth, the world around you will shift. For the universe always responds to the vibration of your assumption. The more you return to this prayer, the more you embody the belief that you are worthy of divine provision, the more you will witness the miraculous manifestations of that provision in your life. But here, beloved, is the most important truth I can leave with you today. It is not enough to hear this prayer once, to speak it once, or even to speak it many times in an effort to manifest a specific outcome. True transformation, true overflow requires consistency. It requires a steadfast knowing, a daily return to the stillness, where divine provision flows effortlessly. This prayer must become your daily bread, not something to be practiced in moments of desperation, but a deep, quiet remembering that you are always supplied, always abundant, always one with the source that created everything you seek. Return to this prayer daily and let it be your anchor, your touchstone, your living reality. Whenever the winds of doubt try to shake your certainty, whenever the old thoughts of lack or struggle begin to creep in, return to this prayer. When the world seems to push against you and the pressures of life start to feel heavy, return to this prayer. Let it be the quiet whisper that guides you through every challenge, through every moment of doubt. For when you remember that you are already surrounded by abundance, that you are already one with the river of divine overflow, nothing in the external world can disrupt your peace, your abundance, or your provision. Every time you say, "I am the overflowing abundance of God," blessings rise to meet me now. Feel the weight of these words settling into the deepest corners of your soul, transforming you from the inside out. Do not say them casually. Do not say them lightly. Speak them with the deep, unshakable knowledge that you are already one with what you seek. Say them with the same confidence and assurance as a king declaring his royal inheritance. For you are indeed royal. You are indeed an heir to the kingdom of divine supply. And the entire universe must mirror this assumption, must bend itself to fulfill the decree that beloved are worthy of all that you desire. And when others ask you, as they surely will, how it is that you live so effortlessly in the flow of divine abundance, how it is that wealth seems to chase you down at every turn, you will smile with quiet humility, knowing that the secret is not something to be shared in words alone, but in the life you live. For you will no longer be the seeker of money. You will be the living proof that overflow is not something earned, not something hoped for, but something naturally drawn to the one who has remembered their divine inheritance. Let your life be the testimony. Let your presence be the invitation for others to step into the same divine truth. You, beloved, are the living proof that the universe answers to consciousness, and that the words you speak in faith will manifest in your world without resistance. Now go forth into your days knowing, truly knowing that overflow is already following you, that every step you take is filled with divine provision, and that every thought you think is a declaration that draws all good things to you. Return to this prayer daily, and with each passing day, feel yourself rising higher. Feel your vibration aligning more deeply with the abundant flow of divine supply. And watch as the world around you begins to rearrange itself to reflect this inner transformation. You have already unlocked the door to divine abundance. And as you walk through it, you will find that it opens onto a world where blessings flow endlessly, opportunities are limitless, and divine provision is not just a dream, but your eternal reality. You have tried everything, haven't you? You've spoken affirmations, written out intentions, worked tirelessly to manifest abundance into your life. You've set goals, made plans, and followed every piece of advice you could find. But still, money seems to slip through your fingers, slipping further from your reach, no matter how much you try to chase it. You have prayed, you have hoped, you have worked, and yet it remains distant like a dream that fades upon waking. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking this overflow, the key to money flowing freely into your life, is not in the chasing, the hoping, or the striving, but in relaxing into the divine rhythm of abundance? In truth, the problem isn't that money is hard to attain. The problem is that You've been misaligned with the flow of divine supply. You've been running after money like it's a distant treasure that's locked away somewhere, waiting for you to prove your worthiness by your effort. But I tell you now, money does not need to be hunted. It is already within your reach. It is already yours, waiting to be revealed. What you need to do is stop running after it. Stop chasing it, and instead align with it by simply resting in your divine birthright. What you're about to learn tonight is nothing short of transformative. Caution. This is not a casual practice, and it is not something you've heard before. The wisdom you're about to receive will unlock the hidden power within you. A power so potent that it will reshape your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. You may be skeptical or even uncertain about how this will work. But I am here to tell you that you can trust the process. Tonight you will not just hear about wealth. You will begin to live in its energy. Align with its frequency and let it flow effortlessly into your experience. Neville Goddard, the great mystic, taught that imagination is God. It is the power that creates all things. What if I told you that you can use this very power, this ability to imagine, to manifest the wealth you desire? Yes, wealth, not just money, but an abundance that will permeate your life in every form. This is what Neville called the law of assumption. To assume the feeling of having your desire already fulfilled. To feel as if you already have everything you need. This is your first step into true wealth. Now, as you prepare to listen to this sacred frequency, the 432 Hz subliminal, understand that this is not just a sound. It is a vibrational key that will unlock your subconscious mind, gently guiding it to align with the energy of abundance. 432 Hz is the frequency of harmony, a universal tune that aligns you with the flow of the universe, where all things are possible, and where wealth is already a natural extension of who you are. Let this frequency wash over you and know that tonight something profound is about to take place within you. Tonight, your life begins to change. I want you to take a moment and truly feel the weight of where you are right now in this moment. The world around you may seem heavy, as though financial struggles, uncertainty, and a sense of scarcity have become an inescapable reality. You may find yourself caught in a cycle of effort, trying endlessly to fix your situation, to scramble for something that seems always just out of reach. This constant striving, the chase, the endless efforts to achieve that which you long for, financial freedom, peace, security, prosperity, can leave you drained, questioning your worth, your path, and most painfully, the very possibility of change. The fact is, we have all been led to believe that we must work tirelessly, sacrifice endlessly, and fight through our limitations to achieve wealth. But what if this belief, this fear-based approach to life is the very thing keeping you from what you seek? What if in your attempts to force your desires into existence, you have overlooked a powerful, unshakable truth that could set you free? What if wealth, instead of being something you need to chase, is actually something you are simply meant to align with? You have been taught that wealth comes from effort and struggle. It is ingrained in you that you must earn your success, that only through hard work and grit can you achieve abundance. This belief has been imposed upon you by society, by the very systems that thrive on keeping you in a perpetual state of striving. But it is not the way of the universe. It is not the truth of who you are at the core of your being. Wealth in its truest form is not a commodity to be won through force. Wealth is a natural extension of your state of being, of your alignment with the universe's abundant energy. You don't need to earn it, fight for it, or prove your worthiness to receive it. You are already worthy. You are already abundant. It is simply waiting for you to assume it, to embody it. The truth is, you have been conditioned to believe in a false reality, one where scarcity reigns and abundance is a far-off dream. And in this belief, you have placed your power outside of yourself, believing that your external circumstances hold dominion over your inner peace and wealth. But what if you stopped looking outward for answers? What if you began to understand that the world you experience is simply a reflection of your inner world, that the state of abundance or lack experience is directly tied to your state of consciousness? The thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that you habitually hold about yourself and the world around you, your financial struggles, your sense of limitation, the feelings of being trapped in a cycle of lack. All of these are products of your inner assumptions. These are not external circumstances that have power over you. They are simply the manifestations of the assumptions you have unconsciously adopted. If you change the assumption, if you change what you feel is true about yourself and your wealth, the entire world shifts. The change is not external. It is internal, rooted in the power of your subconscious mind and your ability to reprogram it. So I ask you now, as you stand in the face of these struggles, are you ready to step into a new reality? A reality where you are no longer enslaved by the illusion of scarcity, but are instead liberated by the truth of abundance. A reality where wealth is no longer a dream, but a natural part of your existence, flowing to you effortlessly like a river, returning to its source. You don't need to keep chasing. Wealth is already within you. And the moment you begin to align your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs with the truth of who you are as a creator, as an expression of the infinite abundance of the universe, your external world will reflect that reality. All of your struggles, all of your fears, all of the doubts that have held you back are nothing but shadows waiting to dissipate when you embrace the light of truth. You are already wealthy. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds too simple. It sounds almost impossible. How could it be so easy? How can simply changing my mindset, aligning with a feeling, change the reality I experience? This is where the confusion often sets in. The mind has been conditioned to believe that results must come through struggle and hard labor. It is difficult to imagine that the power to create a completely new financial reality lies not in doing more, but in being more. Being the person who has already attained their desires, who lives in the fullness of their wish fulfilled. This is where you must trust. This is where you must believe that the power you seek is not in the external world, but in your ability to assume the feeling of your wish already fulfilled, and to live in that assumption with unwavering faith. This is the law of assumption, and tonight I will show you how to use it to change your world. Now that we have uncovered the deep-rooted beliefs that have kept you in a perpetual state of scarcity, let's shift to the profound and transformative truth that can alter everything for you. You see, the key to unlocking the abundant wealth you desire is not about doing more or pushing harder, but rather becoming the person who naturally embodies that wealth. The universe does not respond to struggle or force. It responds to imagination, the divine faculty within you that creates all things visible and invisible, including the wealth you have long desired. Imagination is not a simple mental exercise, nor is it a fleeting daydream. It is the creative power of God, a force so potent that it brings into being all that you can imagine and feel is true. Imagination is God. That is the very foundation of Neville, Goddard's teachings. And it is the truth that will set you free from your financial struggles once and for all. But to fully understand the power of imagination, you must first grasp the idea that you are not separate from it. You are imagination. Imagination is not a tool you use. It is the very essence of who you are. It is the creator within you, the very thing that shapes and molds your reality. And when you begin to see yourself as the creator, not as someone subject to the whims of fate, not as someone who must work tirelessly, through living, you will realize that the wealth you seek is already yours, waiting for you to claim it. You see, wealth is not something you need to manifest through some complex ritual or arduous effort. Wealth is something you need to assume. When you assume the feeling of wealth, when you truly embody the energy of having everything you desire, the universe has no choice but to reflect that assumption back to you. This is the law of assumption, and it works through the power of imagination. Imagine, if you will, that you have already achieved all that you desire. Feel it, taste it, hear it. See yourself living in the reality of your dream. The wealth, the freedom, the abundance. Feel it in every fiber of your being, as though it is already here in this very moment. The secret is, once assume that it is true. Once you accept that the wealth you desire has already been fulfilled, the universe will begin to bring that vision to life in the most miraculous ways. But here's the thing you must understand. It is not enough to think about wealth or to hope for it. You must feel it. You must live in the feeling of wealth as though it is your present reality. This is the key. The universe does not respond to thoughts alone. It responds to feeling. And the feelings you have about wealth, about money, abundance, and prosperity are what will create your reality. It's like a magnetic force. If you walk around feeling like you don't have enough, like money is scarce or hard to come by, then that is exactly what the universe will reflect back to you. But when you walk around feeling wealthy, feeling abundant, feeling prosperous, the universe cannot help but mirror that energy in your external world. Your assumptions shape your world. Your imagination is the doorway through which your desires are made manifest. And this power is yours right here, right now. But it requires faith. Faith that what you imagine and feel will materialize in the physical world. Faith is the belief that your imagination is not just some fanciful wish or idle daydream. It is the very mechanism by which the unseen becomes seen, by which the invisible becomes visible. Faith is the unwavering trust that once you assume the feeling of your desire being fulfilled, it will be brought into your reality. The key then is to live from the end. To live as though your desire is already a fact, already realized. This is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and it is the most powerful state of consciousness you can inhabit. When you live in this state, when you feel the fulfillment of your desires before they physically manifest, you align your inner world with your outer world. You collapse time and space, and you make the impossible possible. You become the creator of your own reality, and the universe must reflect your assumption. So now let us take a deep dive into the role of your subconscious mind in this process. The subconscious is where the magic happens. It is the impersonal part of you, the realm where all of your assumptions, beliefs, and feelings are stored and then expressed outwardly. The subconscious doesn't question or analyze what it is fed. It simply accepts whatever you impress upon it as true, and it brings that truth into your physical reality. This is why your inner state of being, the assumptions, beliefs, and feelings you hold are so crucial. Your subconscious mind operates as the creative force that brings into existence whatever you believe is true. And this is where the law of assumption works its wonders. The moment you assume something to be true, the subconscious accepts it as a fact and begins to bring it into being. This is why Neville Goddard's teachings are so powerful. He understood that imagination is not separate from the subconscious. Your imagination is the creator. It creates your world by impressing upon the subconscious. And the subconscious then brings that creation into existence. You see, when you imagine your wealth, your abundance, and your financial freedom, you are feeding those images directly into your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious mind receives that image, it begins to manifest it into your reality. This is why the feeling of the wish fulfilled is so important. You are not simply imagining a future event. You are feeling it, as though it is happening right now. You are impressing the feeling of fulfillment upon your subconscious mind, and it must reflect that feeling in your outer world. The wealth you seek, the life you dream of is already yours. It has always been yours, waiting for you to align with it through your imagination and your feelings. Your subconscious mind is the fertile ground in which your assumptions grow and manifest, and it is always at work whether you are aware of it or not. So now let us turn to the practical application of this profound truth. Now that you have begun to understand the immense power of imagination, the law of assumption, and the role of the subconscious mind in creating your reality, it is time for us to take these truths and put them into action. The beauty of Neville Goddard's teachings is that they are not just theoretical concepts. They are practical, usable laws that can transform your life in real tangible ways. Manifestation is not something that happens to a select few, nor is it something that requires endless work or effort. It is a natural process, one that you can begin to harness today. But to do so, you must first prepare your mind, your consciousness, and your energy to receive your desires. The first step in this transformation is learning how to prepare your mind to enter into the state of abundance, the state of wealth, the state of already having everything you desire. Imagine for a moment that wealth is a garden and your mind is the soil in which this garden will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, or lack, that is what will sprout. But if you plant seeds of wealth, abundance, and prosperity, that is what will bloom. So the question becomes, what seeds are you planting in your mind every day? What thoughts are you feeding your subconscious mind? The fertile ground where your desires are nurtured and brought to fruition. The first step, then, is to clear away the weeds of negativity, the doubts, the limiting beliefs, the old stories of lack that you have been telling yourself. It is time to prepare the soil of your consciousness by calming your mind, relaxing your body, and creating space for new thoughts, new beliefs, and new assumptions to take root. Begin by taking a few moments every day to center yourself. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Let go of all the external distractions, all the worries, all the concerns that keep you from living fully in the moment. As you breathe deeply, begin to feel your body relaxing, your mind quieting. Allow yourself to come into the present moment free from the stress of the past and the future. This is the foundation for all manifestation work. The ability to come into the present moment, to be fully present with your desires, your imagination, and your subconscious mind. As you breathe, begin to feel a shift inside of you. Feel a deep sense of peace. Feel your body becoming lighter, your thoughts becoming clearer. And as you enter into this state of stillness, know that you are now preparing yourself to receive the wealth, the abundance, the prosperity that is already waiting for you. This is the key. You are not working to manifest wealth into your life. You are simply aligning yourself with the wealth that already exists in the universe, in your subconscious mind, and in your imagination. The universe is abundant and wealth is a natural state of being. The only thing that keeps you from experiencing it is your assumption that it is not yours. Once you have prepared your mind and body, once you are in a relaxed and receptive state, the next step is to begin living in the end. What does it mean to live in the end? It means to assume the feeling that your desire has already been fulfilled. You must feel the fulfillment of your desire as though it is happening right now in this moment. This is not about wishful thinking. This is not about hoping for something in the future. This is about living in the reality of your fulfilled desire. If your desire is wealth, then feel wealthy now. Feel what it would feel like to have all the money you need to live in a state of abundance. To know that you are fully supported by the universe in every way. As you feel this wealth, as you embody this state of being, you are impressing this feeling upon your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious mind accepts this feeling as true, it must be reflected in your outer world. Your external circumstances will begin to change, and you will begin to experience wealth in ways that seem almost miraculous. But first, you must feel it. You must live in the end of your desire. The next step in this process is to introduce affirmations and repetition into your daily practice. Affirmations are powerful tools that help reinforce the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. They are the bridge between your conscious and subconscious mind. When you repeat an affirmation, you are consciously directing your thoughts to the desired state. And with repeated practice, your subconscious mind begins to absorb these affirmations as truth. For example, you might say, "I am wealthy beyond measure," or "Money flows to me easily and effortlessly." But do not say these affirmations as a task or a chore. Feel them as you say them. Feel the truth of them in your heart and in every fiber of your being. Let these affirmations become a natural expression of your inner state. Not something that you do, but something that you are. The more you repeat them, the more they will become ingrained in your subconscious, and the more they will shape your reality. Now, there is a very important piece of this process that cannot be overlooked. Trust. This is where so many people falter. They assume that because they are not immediately seeing results, the process isn't working. But manifestation is not a matter of instant gratification. It is a matter of trusting the process. Trust that the universe is already responding to your assumptions. Trust that your subconscious mind is at work even when you cannot see the physical evidence of your desires. This trust is what will carry you through the waiting period, and it is what will accelerate the manifestation of your wealth. You see, manifestation is not about forcing or striving. It is about letting go. Let go of the need to control the how, and just trust that the universe will bring your desires to you in the most natural and effortless way possible. And finally, as you approach the end of your day, as you prepare to fall asleep, this is the moment when you must sleep in the assumption, just before you drift off into sleep. Bring to mind the image of your fulfilled desire. Feel the wealth, the abundance, the financial freedom, as if it is already yours. Live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled as you fall asleep. This is the moment when your subconscious mind is most receptive, when it is most open to receiving your new assumptions. As you sleep, your subconscious mind goes to work aligning your external circumstances with the wealth you have already assumed. And so when you wake up, you will find that your world has changed. You will find that the wealth you desired is now making its way into your life, and that it will continue to flow effortlessly as long as you continue to live. In the end, assume the feeling of wealth and trust the process. Now, as we arrive at this crucial moment in your transformation, I invite you to reflect deeply on the profound power that lies within you, the power to create your reality, to shape your world with the immense force of your imagination. You may have felt the weight of your financial struggles, the uncertainty of whether true wealth is ever meant to be yours. But here you stand at the precipice of a new life. A life where abundance is no longer an abstract hope, but an undeniable truth that resonates through every part of your being. Wealth is not a destination to reach. It is a state of being to embody. It is not something to be achieved through struggle, through effort, or through the grind. Wealth is a vibration, a frequency, a subtle energetic signature that you are meant to attune yourself to. Just as a radio receiver can tune into a particular frequency, so too can your mind and body align with the frequency of wealth. And the moment you assume that frequency, the universe must respond. This is the law of assumption. And it is the key that unlocks everything for you. In this moment, as you stand on the threshold of this transformation, I want you to remember that the wealth you seek has always been inside you. It is not out there in the world somewhere to be chased. It is already within you, waiting for you to align with it, waiting for you to claim it as your own. You are the creator of your reality. You have always been the creator. You are not a passive participant in the unfolding of your life, but the active creator of it. You are the architect of your abundance, the sculptor of your destiny. All you need to do is to claim your birthright, to step into the fullness of your being, and to know without a shadow of doubt that wealth is your natural state. As you take this step, as you begin to fully assume the feeling of wealth, as you move into the state of being that is already rich, already prosperous, already at peace with the flow of money, you will start to see the universe rearrange itself to reflect that truth. This is not something you need to strive for. It is not something that requires hard work or sacrifice. It is simply a matter of aligning with what is already yours. Your wealth, your abundance is already present, vibrating in the quantum field, just waiting for you to tune into it. The question is not, will I get rich? The question is, how long will it take me to believe I am already rich? The moment you accept that your wealth is a done deal, that the riches you desire are already yours, you will begin to see them manifest in the most miraculous ways. You will see opportunities appear that you never could have planned for. You will see circumstances shift, doors opening, connections forming. All because you have shifted your consciousness to align with the abundance that is already within you. This is the essence of what Neville called the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you live in the assumption that your wish is already fulfilled, you must see the external world reflect that assumption back to you. This is the law of the universe. This is the law of creation. It is the very law that brought everything into being. From the stars in the sky to the earth beneath your feet. All of creation operates under this law. And you, as an expression of that creation, are no exception. You are part of the fabric of the universe. And the universe responds to you in kind. It reflects your inner world in your outer world. It reflects your assumptions in the circumstances of your life. So as you move through this final initiation, I ask you to embrace this new reality. Embrace the truth that wealth is already yours. Embrace the truth that you are already abundant, already at peace, already free from the shackles of financial limitation. The moment you embrace this truth, the world will begin to reflect it. And from that moment on, you will live your life in alignment with the natural flow of wealth, abundance, and prosperity. This is your birthright, and it is yours to claim. Your wealth is not something that will come to you. Your wealth is something you already possess. It is time to step into that reality and to live from that place of knowing. You are the creator of your world. You are the God of your experience. You are the one who chooses the thoughts, the beliefs, and the assumptions that shape your life. And when you begin to assume the truth of your wealth, the universe must respond. It cannot do otherwise. As you stand in this truth, feel the power of your imagination and your subconscious mind coming alive within you. Feel the energy of abundance flowing freely through you, and know that it is already manifesting in your physical world. Wealth is not something to be chased. Wealth is something to be claimed, to be embodied, and to be experienced. And tonight, that is exactly what you are doing. You are claiming your wealth. You are embodying it. You are experiencing it. And tomorrow morning, you will wake up in a world that has already begun to reflect that wealth. Your journey of manifestation has already begun. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the universe must deliver. And it will deliver in ways you could never have imagined. So as you fall asleep tonight, let go of all doubt. Let go of all fear. Let go of all attachment to how or when your wealth will come. Simply assume that it is already here. Live in the end. And when you wake up, the world will be waiting for you, reflecting back to you the wealth that you have already assumed. Now, as we stand at the threshold of your transformation, as you feel the deep stirring of your heart, the quiet yet powerful knowledge that you have already shifted, it is time for you to take the next step into your new life. A life where wealth is no longer a distant dream, but an ever-present reality. I invite you now to embrace this truth fully. Wealth is already within you. It is not outside of you. It is not something that will come tomorrow or next week. It is right here, right now, waiting for you to align with it. The moment you assume that you are already wealthy, that you are already living the life you desire, you open the floodgates for the universe to begin rearranging everything to reflect that truth. You are already abundant. You have always been abundant. You have always had everything you need within you to create the life you desire. The only thing that has ever kept from experiencing this wealth is the mistaken belief that it was something outside of you, something to be earned or struggled for. But tonight, you have learned that the key to manifesting your desires is not effort or struggle. It is alignment. You align yourself with the truth of who you are, the truth of your being as a divine creator. And the universe must reflect that alignment in your external world. And so as you go to sleep tonight, I ask you to let go of all resistance. Let go of any doubts, any fears, any lingering beliefs that you must work harder or fight for your wealth. You do not need to fight for what is already yours. You do not need to chase what is already in your grasp. Trust the process. Trust that the universe is already aligning with your assumptions and that your wealth is on its way to you. Now, as you close your eyes tonight, imagine yourself living in the abundance that you have always desired. Feel it in every cell of your body. Feel the weight of the riches you have longed for. The peace, the freedom, the security, the power. Imagine yourself waking up every day, knowing that the world is your oyster, that opportunities flow to you effortlessly, that money comes to you easily and freely. This is your new truth. And as you drift into sleep, allow the power of the 432 Hertz to deepen this feeling of abundance, to anchor it within your subconscious mind, where it will grow and manifest. You are planting the seeds of your new reality. And tomorrow as you wake up, you will begin to see the evidence of your assumption. The world will shift to reflect the truth of who you are. And when you wake up tomorrow, when you step into your new day, I want you to remember this. The world is not as it appears. It is not bound by the limitations you once believed. The world is a reflection of your inner state, and your inner state is now one of wealth, one of abundance, one of limitless potential. You are a divine creator, and as such, you have the power to shape your world as you see fit. You have the power to create wealth, to create prosperity, to create success. It is already yours. It always has been. The universe is simply waiting for you to step into your power, to fully claim your wealth, to fully embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And now I ask you to make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to live from this place of alignment, to continue assuming the feeling of wealth until it is reflected in every corner of your life, a commitment to trust the process, to trust that your wealth is already on its way, and to trust that every step you take is leading you closer to the fulfillment of your desires. Commit to this path, and you will find that your world begins to shift in miraculous ways. So, as we draw to a close tonight, I ask you to remember this. You are the creator of your reality. You are the one who holds the keys to your financial freedom, your prosperity, your success. And as you step into your power, the universe will open doors for you that you could never have imagined. The wealth you seek is already yours. All you need to do is align with it, claim it, and trust the process. And as you do, know that this is just the beginning. The journey you have started tonight will continue to unfold in beautiful and unexpected ways. You will begin to see the world reflect your new beliefs, your new assumptions, and your new reality. You will see opportunities flow to you. You will see your desires manifest in ways that feel effortless, natural, and inevitable. And remember, everything you desire is already within you. Trust your imagination. Trust your subconscious. Trust the law of assumption, and let the universe deliver your wealth to you. I invite you now to take this next step on your journey to abundance. To trust that everything you've imagined and felt tonight is already on its way to you. If you are ready to continue this journey, if you are ready to step into the wealth that is already yours, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, to continue listening, to continue aligning with the truth of who you are, a divine creator. And as you continue this journey, know that each night you fall asleep, you are one step closer to the wealth that is already yours. Let this knowledge guide you and let it fill you with confidence and peace. Your wealth is here. It is now, and it is waiting for you to claim it. Rest in that knowing tonight, and when you wake up, you will see the world reflect back to you your new truth. Your wealth is on its way, and it is already yours. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Thank you.